Chapter 97. Yao Yen proudly walked toward the path that the other party had opened up for him. However, he soon realized that no one was following behind him. Whether it was Ling Han, Lu Guanming, or even Ling Yue, they were all standing at the same spot as Long Yu. "Why aren't you following me?" Yao Yen frowned and said lightly. "If Brother Long isn't leaving, then we won't leave. If you want to leave, then leave by yourself." Lu Guanming's face was filled with stubbornness as he followed Ling Han and called Yao Yen Brother Long. This made Long Yu a little puzzled, but let him be. It was just a name, there was no need to mind it. He turned his head and looked at Ling Tianba with interest. "Are you sure you want to stop me? Are you an idiot?" Ling Tianba looked at Long Yu as if he was looking at an idiot. "Although you're quite strong, you're only at the 9th rank of the martial path. Do you think my Ling family can't stop you? Then go ahead and try." Long Yu chuckled and stood with his hands behind his back. He didn't even take out the spear on his back. This action made Ling Yue's eyes light up. This Long Yu seemed to be very confident in himself. Yao Yen coldly snorted, but he did not retreat. Instead, he leaped onto the side wall of the courtyard and prepared to observe the situation. He wanted to see how Ling Han and the others could leave this place without him. Rumor has it that you, Long Yu, can kill experts in the true spirit realm. Show us your strength now. Yao Yen said disdainfully with a smile. I, old Lu, have already seen Brother Long kill true spirit realm experts. Lu Guanming retorted sarcastically, and his face revealed a hint of disdain towards Yao Yen. This black-faced man was straightforward. Although he was straightforward, he could easily offend others. At this moment, Yao Yan's eyes flashed with ferocity. It was obvious that he bore a grudge against Lu Guanming. Lu Guanming had enough confidence in Long Yu, so Ling Han and Ling Yue naturally would not step forward. However, they were a little expectant and wanted to see Long Yu's current strength. If Long Yu was in danger, they would definitely lend a hand. Back in the royal family's ancient forest, Brother Long was only at the 6th rank of the martial path, but he was able to defeat a 7th rank expert. After stepping into the 7th stage of the martial Dao, he fought 1 against 3 and killed Hua Qing, Hua Yun, and Tan Jian. Ling Han stood at the back, his eyes flashing with anticipation. Now that Brother Long has stepped into the 9th stage of the martial path, this speed is a little too fast. Can he really defeat someone from the true spirit realm at the 9th rank of the martial path? This made Ling Han even more curious about Long Yu. Ling Tianba snorted coldly. Since Long Yu wanted to have a taste of his power, of course he would not be stingy. "Attack him," Ling Tianba ordered. Instantly, the Ling family disciples who had reached the 7th rank of the martial path all displayed their Xian Qi martial skills towards Long Yu. This Ling Tianba actually wanted to win with numbers. "Shameless! How dare you surround him?" Ling Yue exclaimed. However, faced with the onslaught of Xian Qi, Long Yu was calm and composed. Demon subduing Vajra shield. A faint golden glow appeared on the surface of Long Yu's body as he stood in place, unmoving. Following that, countless Xian Qi smashed onto his body, causing a burst of golden light to scatter. However, it did not even make him take half a step back, let alone injure him. Seeing this, Ling Yue finally relaxed. It seemed that the attacks of the 7th rank of the martial path were completely like tickles to Long Yu. Soul-setting bracelet. Suddenly, a 5-colored bracelet flew out from a corner that no one was paying attention to. In an instant, it expanded and wrapped around Long Yu's entire body. It's a sneak attack from Ling Lai's combat weapon. Long Yu was no stranger to this soul-setting bracelet. When he was in Jade Gate City, he had already broken the soul-setting bracelet, not to mention now that his cultivation was even stronger. "Break for me." Long Yu's dantian pulsated, causing the Xian Qi in his body to boil. The meridians that were sealed by the soul-setting bracelet were directly opened up by Xian Qi. His entire body was not affected by the bracelet at all. Kill! At this time, Ling Tianba finally held a long saber in his hand. Using the Ling family's ancestral saber technique, he slashed down towards Long Yu's head. This slash was condensed with Ling Tianba's strongest strength. The saber light was piercingly cold, as if it was going to cut Long Yu in half. Layers of spear shadows. Long Yu finally held the 9 nether dragon spear in his hand. However, he did not activate the 9 nether dragon seal or the 9 nether runes on the spear. Instead, he directly displayed the great success Realm Heaven suppressing spear technique. Layers of spear shadows met Ling Tianba's tyrannical slash. Accompanied by a loud bang, Ling Tianba's entire body flew backwards and landed heavily on the ground. The soul-setting bracelet that trapped Long Yu was forcefully shattered by the heaven-suppressing force that he infused into his spear. Once the heaven-suppressing force was unleashed, all the disciples of the Ling family were completely suppressed, especially Ling Lai and Ling Tianba. They felt as if a mountain was pressing down on them, and even breathing became difficult. A crushing defeat. Even though the Ling family had many people, they were no match for the power of Long Yu alone. "Haha, brother Long, you are indeed powerful." Lu Guanming laughed out loud, and his dark face was full of excitement. "It's just that they are too weak." Long Yu smiled faintly and kept the 9 nether dragon spear. Looking at the Ling family in a complete mess, his expression was indifferent as he walked out of the Ling family mansion. Lu Guanming, Ling Han, and Ling Yuan naturally followed closely behind. As for Yao Yan, who originally wanted to watch a good show, he was stunned on the spot. He did not expect Long Yu to be so strong. Heaven-suppressing force. Even Yao Yan himself could not comprehend the heaven-suppressing force of heaven and earth, but this Long Yu actually comprehended it. Could it be that this Long Yu can really deal with the people of the true spirit realm? No, that's impossible. Once the true spirit realm appears, he can suppress everyone. How can a mere 9th rank of the martial path fight against the true spirit realm? Yao Yan thought to himself. No matter what, he did not believe it. He jumped off the wall and caught up to Ling Yue. "Junior sister Yue, wait for me. I was just joking. Now it seems that this Long Yu is still qualified to be with me, Yao Yan." He said this to please Ling Yue, but he did not expect that Ling Yue did not like him at all. Look at Long Yu. Not only was he strong, he did not have the disgusting arrogance of Yao Yan. He was humble to his friends and domineering to his enemies. Yao Yan, on the other hand, was arrogant and conceited just because he had some strength. He swaggered around as if he wanted the whole world to know him. Who would be willing to be with such a person? However, this trip to obtain the lunar fragment was fraught with danger. Having another person from the true spirit realm with them was an additional layer of protection. Ling Yue could only pretend to be polite to Yao Yan and calm him down. The 5 of them quickly rode a fierce horse and left the Ling family villa, galloping toward the ring-shaped mountain range. After Long Yu and the others left, another group of people came to the Ling family villa and found the Ling family mansion. This group of people was Wang Tianjua of the imperial city's Wang family. He brought 2 true spirit realm guards and a follower, Lu Mingqing. Wang Tianjua wore a golden silk robe and stood proudly in the Ling family mansion. Just as he raised his foot and was about to step into the Ling family mansion, a fierce horse neighed behind him. "It's junior sister Feng Yao." Lu Mingqing looked back and hurriedly reminded him. "Haha, junior sister Feng Yao, we finally meet again." Wang Tianjua laughed loudly and looked back. Sure enough, he saw Feng Yao riding a horse over. Her light green dress swayed, her facial features were exquisite, and her face was perfect. However, Feng Yao's expression did not seem to be very good. "You asked me to meet you at the Ling family mansion, and I'm here. Don't have any ideas about my father." Feng Yao rode on the horse and said calmly. "Haha, of course. Since junior sister Feng Yao is here, It means that you acknowledge me, Wang Tianjue. Wang Tianjue smiled. Why would I, Wang Tianjue, harm my future father-in-law? Cut the crap. Why did you ask me to come here? Feng Yao's temper was not good, and she asked coldly. I'm here to obtain the lunar fragment and give it to junior sister Feng Yao. Wang Tianjue smiled proudly and said, Also, find that brat called Long Yu and get rid of him. Long Yu? He's here too? Feng Yao frowned slightly. This is the information I've gathered. It shouldn't be wrong. Wang Tianjue said. Compared to Long Yu, I'd rather you get rid of another person for me. Feng Yao raised her eyebrows and said, Who's that? Who dares to make our junior sister Feng Yao angry? Wang Tianjue was a little curious. Lu Yuan. Feng Yao spat out two words, which made Wang Tianjue and Lu Mingqing's expressions change. Qingqing Pavilion, Lu Yuan. Lu Yuan is here too? Lu Mingqing could not help but ask, Cousin, did you meet her? I met her on the way here. Feng Yao said calmly, however, she has already gone to the mineral vein. Young Master Wang, Lu Yuan is the most talented person in the Lu family. She joined the Qingqing Pavilion at a young age, and is now ranked third among the core disciples of the Qingqing Pavilion. She's already at LV2 of the True Spirit Secret Realm. Lu Mingqing whispered to Wang Tianjue. Wang Tianjue's expression did not look too good. He had heard of Lu Yuan, and she was not an easy person to deal with. Junior sister Feng Yao, what grudge do you have with her? Isn't your mother from the Lu family? Wang Tianjue asked. She teased and insulted me when I was young, Feng Yao said calmly. Then, she raised her head and stared at Wang Tianjue. As my future husband, you, Wang Tianjue, are not afraid of Lu Yuan, are you? Haha, how is that possible? Wang Tianjue laughed and glanced at the two true spirit realm guards behind him. He said confidently, Don't worry and follow me. If we meet Lu Yuan this time, I, Wang Tianjue, will definitely humiliate her. That's good. Feng Yao got off the horse and walked to Wang Tianjue's side with the bronze ancient sword at her waist. She was alone now, and her cultivation was only at LV8 of the martial path. She had no chance of winning against Lu Yuan. It was good to let Wang Tianjue create some trouble for Lu Yuan for the time being. After all, Feng Yao would not suffer any losses herself. The group of 5 entered the Ling family mansion once again. However, what they saw was the strange scene of the Ling family mansion in a complete mess. What's going on? Are you from the Ling family? Wang Tianjue frowned and asked loudly. Ling Tianbao was originally leaning against the wall. He had been heavily injured by Long Yu's spear, and his qi and blood were not flowing smoothly. He needed to rest for a while. Now that he saw Wang Tianjue, who was wearing a golden silk robe, he was shocked. He hurriedly endured the discomfort in his qi and blood and greeted him. Indeed, the appearance of the lunar fragment had attracted many experts from the True Spirit Secret Realm. Chapter 98. Wang Tianjue and Feng Yao stepped into the Ling family mansion together, only to see the Ling family disciples in a mess. When Ling Tianba came up to him, Wang Tianjue asked coldly, Who are you? Where is the Ling family patriarch? I am the Ling family patriarch. Ling Tianba endured the discomfort in his body and said, You are the Ling family patriarch? Wang Tianjue glanced at him and smiled. The 9th rank of the martial path. As expected, there is no expert in the true spirit realm in the entire Ling family mansion. However, why are you in such a sorry state? Young master, you are? Ling Tianba asked cautiously. He is the young master of the Wang family, Wang Tianjue. Lu Mingqing said proudly, We are here to find someone. Have you heard of Long Yu? Long Yu. Ling Tianba was shocked. Everyone in the Ling family had been turned upside down by Long Yu's heaven-suppressing grand power. How could he not have heard of Long Yu? Ling Tianba only knew that Long Yu was a good friend of Ling Han in the Zhentian clan, but he did not know anything else about Long Yu. Now that he heard that Wang Tianjue from the imperial city's Wang clan was looking for Long Yu, his mind immediately became active. It seems that he is here to find trouble with Long Yu. Ling Tianba thought in his heart, but he pretended to be a yes man and said, "Yes, of course I have. That Long Yu is an evil thief." Wang Tianjue and Lu Mingqing looked at each other. Lu Mingqing nodded and continued to ask, "Did Long Yu grow up in the Ling family mansion?" Feng Yao, who was at the side, found this strange. Long Yu grew up in the Ling family mansion? Suddenly, Feng Yao recalled that after so many years in the Feng clan, her father, Feng Chang'e, had always kept Long Yu's identity a secret. She only knew that he was banished by some clan in the imperial city and was brought back by Feng Chang'e. Could it be that Long Yu's identity was of great importance? As Feng Yao pondered, she did not reveal her emotions. Right now, she was only using Wang Tianjue. Of course, she would not remind him about Long Yu. Although Feng Yao was unhappy with Long Yu, she was even more unhappy with Wang Tianjue. Long Yu is at our Ling family villa. Ling Tianbao was also a little surprised in his heart. He had never heard of Long Yu before. How could this brat possibly grow up in the Ling family manor? However, after thinking about it, he rolled his eyes and asked, "Young master, are you looking for Long Yu because he is his friend?" "Friend my ass, we're looking for him to kill him," Lu Mingqing said coldly. Oh. Ling Tianbao was overjoyed. As expected, they were looking for trouble. He is indeed a member of the Ling family's villa. Unfortunately, after a trip to the heaven-suppressing sect, he became arrogant and despotic. How hateful! If you see him, you must help us clean up the Ling family manor. All of us were injured by him just now. We even raised him for so many years. Ling Tianba heaved a sigh of relief when he heard this. He said this because he was afraid that Wang Tianjue would not dare to kill Long Yu because he was from the Zhentian clan. Now that he said that Long Yu was from the Ling family manor, and even he, the head of the Ling family, had spoken up, he would definitely kill him without hesitation. Ling Tianba and all the disciples of the Ling family were no match for Long Yu. If he wanted to save his face, he could only rely on others. Wang Tianjue, of course, did not think that he would become the knife that Ling Tianba borrowed again. When he heard what Ling Tianba said, he immediately snorted. "I didn't expect that brat to be so ungrateful. Where are they now? Seeing you like this, they shouldn't have gone far. They should have entered the mountain. It seems like they are going to fight for the lunar fragment." Ling Tianba replied respectfully. "Let's go." When Wang Tianjue received the news, he did not stay for a moment longer and turned to leave. The five of them arrived at the entrance of the Ling family's mansion, mounted their horses, and galloped toward the mineral vein. Long Yu, Ling Han, Ling Yue, Lu Guanming, and Yao Yan rode their horses and quickly approached the mine that was filled with yin energy. This mineral vein was an endless chain of mountains. Small hills rose and fell one after another, but they were bare, without any flowers or trees growing on them. They looked extremely barren. The place with the most yin energy is the place where the lunar fragment is about to appear. Ling Han led the way as he said, when miners in the Ling family manor were mining, they encountered a place with the most yin energy. The news that the lunar fragment is about to appear spread. When they neared the mine, the horses under the five of them refused to move forward no matter what. After entering the mountain range, the five of them could only dismount and walk on foot. The yin energy that spread through the mountain range was extremely harmful to any living creature. It could be imagined how terrible the lives of the miners who mined here were. Among the five, Ling Yue, who had the lowest cultivation, felt uncomfortable when she came into contact with the yin energy. Fortunately, Ling Han cultivated the noble grand white qi. He used it to form a barrier to block the yin energy for Ling Yue, making her feel much better. "Let's go. Follow me. I have already found the shortest route to that place in the past few days." As Ling Han spoke, He chose a path and headed toward the place where the lunar fragment was about to appear. The path between the small hills was also very complicated. Although there was no lush vegetation, the raised hills blocked people's vision. They could not see the scene several kilometers away. Only a martial cultivator like Ling Han, who was very familiar with the geography of this area, would be able to quickly traverse through the numerous small hills. After the time it took for a stick of incense to burn, the 5 of them were already deep in the hills. As far as the eye could see, there were small hills in all directions. Sometimes they could see a large pile of gravel, accompanied by a strong yin qi. The miners usually mine underground. However, we are going to find the lunar fragment, so we don't need to go underground, Ling Han explained. After a while, he frowned slightly. There seems to be someone nearby. Ah. As expected of the former young master of the Ling family manor. You are the local tyrant in this area. Your senses are so sharp. An arrogant and egotistical voice suddenly came from the back of a small hill. Immediately after, 2 figures wearing fiery red robes walked out and instantly arrived beside the 5 of them. Long Yu was a little surprised. Of course, he had also sensed that someone was following them. However, it was only because the other party revealed killing intent that he sensed that trace of killing intent. Ling Han shouldn't be able to sense killing intent so easily. How did he discover that there were people nearby? Long Yu quietly glanced at Yao Yen beside him and realized that even Yao Yen was frowning, as though he was very surprised by the person who had appeared. Obviously, even though he had condensed his true spirit, Yao Yen did not notice anyone following him. I relied on my killing intent, but Ling Han probably sensed the flow of yin qi nearby and relied on his familiarity with the yin qi to discover those 2 people. Long Yu secretly guessed, and then started to size up the 2 people who were walking over. Both of them wore fiery red robes with a large fire character embroidered on them. This undoubtedly announced their identities. Fire Hidden Palace disciple. Long Yu and the others immediately felt a chill in their hearts. Most importantly, these 2 people were experts who had condensed their true spirit. One of them was at the 1st level of the true spirit realm, and the other was even stronger, reaching the 2nd level of the true spirit realm. This made Long Yu and the others immediately feel bad. These 2 powerhouses were not what the 5 of them could deal with at the moment. Just like these weak little ones? Silkworm cub? Cripple? Shallow strokes to show my patience? Bang! One of the rank 2 true spirit experts had a skinny figure and small eyes. He had a mocking expression on his face. I am Huofu from the Fire Hidden Palace. Ling family's young master, can you take these little ones away? Play? Iba? Limp? Lips? Music? Jun Huofu. Yao Yan's expression changed. You are Huofu, the son of the Fire Hidden Palace's Hall Master. I never thought that someone would have heard of me. It is my honor. Huofu's small eyes were filled with contempt. Since you have heard of me, shouldn't you take the initiative to retreat and give the Ling family's young master to me, Huofu? Huofu, we have no intention of offending you. Please don't make things difficult for us and let us leave. When Yao Yen heard Huofu's name, he actually showed weakness. This kind of action made Long Yu, Lu Guanming, Ling Han, and Ling Yue all feel disdain. This Yao Yen, although he had condensed his true spirit, wasn't his personality too cowardly? He was just someone who bullied the weak and feared the strong. Leave on your own, I won't touch you. Huofu looked at everyone with ridicule. Why aren't you thanking Big Brother Huofu? When Yao Yen heard this, he instantly became arrogant and shouted at Long Yu and the others, could it be that you all want to become Big Brother Huofu's ghosts? If you want to leave, then leave by yourself. No one will stop you. Long Yu said coldly. In front of a great enemy, Yao Yen actually called the other party Big Brother. It was simply laughable. Humph, if you don't leave, then just wait to die. Big Brother Huofu is not so easy to deal with. Yao Yen said disdainfully, then looked at Ling Yue. Junior sister Yue, let's go first. Ignore the others. As for your brother, I believe big brother Huofu will not make things difficult for him. I want to be with my brother. Ling Yue shook her head, also extremely disdainful of Yao Yen. I've already reminded you, you don't want to live, but I do. Yao Yen snorted coldly, feeling extremely displeased looking at Ling Yue's appearance. Although he wanted Ling Yue, he would not go against Huofu just for her. He had heard that Huofu's methods were ruthless and extremely cruel. If one fell into his hands, it would be a fate worse than death. With this thought, he turned around and left without the slightest bit of reluctance. The team of 5 had just entered the mine and encountered the first wave of enemies, but Yao Yen had retreated without a fight and left everyone behind. Placing our hopes on this kind of person to fight alongside us is a waste of effort. Ling Yue could not help but complain. Huofu, who stood in front of the crowd, stuck out his tongue and licked his lips mockingly. You people really don't know what's good for you. I'm thinking, should I burn you all alive, or should I use fire to blast you all into pieces? Ling Yue could not help but shiver at his words. This Huofu's methods were actually so cruel. It was easy to imagine that if Ling Han followed them alone to lead the way, he would definitely end up in a very miserable state. You can come and try. As Long Yu said this, he walked in front of Ling Han's group and stood in front of Huofu. At this moment Yao Yen had fled. The only person who had the ability to fight against a true spirit realm expert was Long Yu. He, of course, would not allow the other party to take Ling Han away. Chapter 99. When Long Yu stepped forward, Huofu's already small eyes narrowed into a line. You're quite brave, Huofu said coldly. It's a pity that people with courage but no brains always die the fastest. Xiaoho, teach this brat a lesson. Let him know the consequences of forcefully standing up for those who don't have the strength in this world. As soon as he said this, a young man wearing a fiery red robe behind Huofu said, Young master, is that all? Fenggua nua xianwan si baomang? Fake in xiang chuan jun? Xiaoho tianjie. Huofu didn't turn around and said in a stern voice, If you don't want to deal with them? Wanwei Jun? Hearing this, Xiaoho Tianjie's expression changed. Zhentian clan's Baihang. When he and Huofu came here, they met the Zhentian clan's core disciple Baihang, who was also an expert in the second level of the true spirit realm. Since Huofu said this, could it be that Baihang was nearby? Xiaoho Tianjie's expression darkened. He knew that Huofu had to be on guard against Baihang. So, these were the ones in front of him? Waving fun? Patting lotus flowers with deep forgiveness. As soon as he thought of this, the handsome Xiaoho Tianjie walked out. He wore a fiery red robe and quickly stood in front of Huofu. There was a distance of 10 feet between him and Long Yu, and they stood facing each other. I, Xiaoho Tianjie, never fight with people weaker than me because that would make me seem tasteless. Xiaoho Tianjie's expression darkened. Asking him to deal with Long Yu and the others was really going against his principles. You guys are really unlucky. I'll give you one more chance. If you want to scram now. Otherwise, no one will be able to leave when I make my move. Xiaoho Tianjie was an expert in the first level of the true spirit realm. In his and Huofu's eyes, an expert who had condensed his true spirit realm wanted to deal with Long Yu and the others? Qiao Xiu? Qiao Xiu? Qiao Xiu? Qiao Xiu? Dinashi? Baihang. When Long Yu heard the conversation between Huofu and Xiaoho Tianjie, he rejoiced inwardly. However, his expression did not change. Huofu, who was at the second stage of the true spirit secret realm, was someone that he, Long Yu, could not deal with. However, Xiaoho Tianjie, who was at the first level of the true spirit secret realm, was not very strong in his eyes. With Long Yu's current strength, he could easily deal with an ordinary expert in the first level of the true spirit realm. Huofu thought that Xiaoho Tianjie could kill him, Long Yu, but he was wrong. As for the Baihang they were talking about, Long Yu had heard of him before. In the Zhentian clan, other than the number 1 core disciple, Baihang was ranked second. It was said that he was at the peak of the second level of the true spirit realm. After entering the true spirit realm, it was extremely difficult to increase one's cultivation. Even if it was just 1 level higher, the difference in strength was like heaven and earth. I didn't expect Baihang to be here. Looks like the celestial Yin fragment is really eye-catching. Long Yu thought to himself as he observed Xiahou Tianjie. He squinted his eyes and said, "If you want to kill me, you can do it now." "Humph, I've seen people looking for death, but I've never seen someone in such a hurry like you." Xiahou Tianjie snorted coldly, and a hint of impatience appeared on his handsome face. "Since I told you to scram, then go and die." As soon as he finished speaking, a flame shadow appeared behind Xiahou Tianjie. As a disciple of the hidden fire palace, his true spirit was obviously a flame. As soon as the true spirit appeared, the Yin Qi in the surroundings was dispersed and everyone felt a scorching heat. Brother Long, when Ling Han saw this, a worried expression appeared on his face. "Let's take a step back. Don't get in Brother Long's way." Lu Guanming's dark face, however, was calm and composed. He pulled Ling Han along and retreated. He had seen Long Yu fight against the enforcement elder Jing Yizhen and Tan Wuchuan, so he had full confidence in Long Yu's strength. Feeling the confidence in Lu Guanming's words, Ling Han swallowed and decided to believe in Long Yu. He had never thought that someone in the 9th level of the martial path could defeat an expert who had condensed a true spirit. However, he believed in Lu Guanming's words. Lu Guanming had a straightforward personality and would never speak nonsense. If he said that he had seen Long Yu kill a true spirit, then it was definitely true. "Yue, step back." Ling Han calmed down and shouted at his sister Ling Yue. Ling Yue was a little angry. In front of a great enemy, this dark-faced Lu Guanming actually told them to step back. Did he think that they were timid people? However, she didn't dare to disobey Ling Han's words, so she also took a few steps back. In the eyes of Huofu and Xiahou Tianjie, the 3 of them naturally thought that they wanted to escape. They wanted to use Long Yu's life to exchange for their own safety. "You want to run? Can you?" Xiahou Tianjie sneered arrogantly. "How long do you think a mere 9th level of the martial path can stop me?" As soon as he finished speaking, the true spirit behind him exploded into a cluster of flames and formed a fire hound. It opened its mouth and roared at Long Yu. A wave of horrifying temperature rushed towards Long Yu. Sky-suppressing momentum, layers of spear shadows. Seeing this, Long Yu immediately gripped the 9 nether dragon spear tightly. He raised the tip of the spear and merged it with the sky-suppressing momentum. Instantly, layers of spear shadows swept out toward the fire hound. "A mantis trying to stop a chariot, you overestimate yourself." Xiahou Tianjie snorted coldly, but then, the smile on his face froze. The layers of spear shadows that had merged with the sky-suppressing momentum actually pierced through the firehound's body, dispersing the flame energy within it and completely annihilating it. 9 nether runes, activate, break. Long Yu swept out once again with the spear. The ferocious pressure of the sky-suppressing momentum descended and instantly shattered the fire hound into dust. "The combat weapon in your hand is a spiritual combat weapon." Xiahou Tianjie's expression changed slightly. He could tell that the 9 nether dragon spear was not ordinary at a glance. "So what if it is?" Long Yu said indifferently. At the same time, he finally realized that above the mortal combat weapon was the spiritual combat weapon, which was exactly the same as the martial skills. "Then, it's mine." Xiahou Tianjie's face was filled with greed. He waved his hand and instantly, a cluster of flames condensed in his palm. The various martial skills that the disciples of the Hidden Fire Palace practiced were naturally related to fire. As long as they reached the 7th rank of the martial path, They could condense Xian Qi into flames with a wave of their hand and use it to kill their enemies. After condensing the fire true spirit, they were even more tyrannical. What can a spiritual combat weapon do in the hands of a mere 9th rank of the martial path cultivator? Why don't you let it shine in my hands? Xiahou Tianjie shouted, and immediately, the flames in his hand swept towards Long Yu and exploded in mid-air. Flame explosion. The flames exploded, and instantly, a wave of destructive energy covered the entire area. Against the disciples of the Hidden Fire Palace, speed is useless. The range of their martial skills is too wide. Long Yu's heart trembled. Against Xiahou Tianjie's flame explosion martial skill, even if he cultivated the demon-subduing body, he might not be able to completely block it. Luckily, before the flames exploded, he subconsciously swept away the 9 Nether Dragon spear and executed the Nether Dragon leap, leaping high into the sky. The Nether Dragon leap jumped hundreds of feet. Such a powerful leap allowed him to take in the surrounding terrain in an instant. As expected, not far away, there was a group of 4 people hiding behind a small hill, observing the situation. They should be the people brought by Baiheng. Long Yu didn't think too much about it. Right now, the most important thing for him was to defeat Xiahou Tianjie. Reverse scale tentacle, kill. He used all his strength to bite his finger and sprinkled the blood on the 9 Nether Dragon spear. Immediately, the 9 Nether Qi enveloped his entire body. Accompanied by the surging power of the heaven-suppressing great power, a terrifying spear descended from the sky and stabbed towards Xiahou Tianjie. Did he run up the mountain? The corner of Xiahou Tianjie's mouth curled up slightly. Profound qi gathered in his body, and instantly, the fire-true spirit behind him formed a huge flaming claw. It grabbed towards the top of his head, wanting to grab hold of Long Yu and burn him to death. Blink, wind, step, dodge. In a flash, Long Yu actually abandoned the 9 Nether Dragon spear and distanced himself from the flaming claw. The 9 Nether Dragon spear carried a terrifying might and instantly pierced the flaming claw. The pressure of the heaven and earth instantly descended. However, Xiahou Tianjie had also comprehended the charm of the fire-concealing art. Furthermore, because he had condensed his true spirit, his basic strength far surpassed Long Yu's. The heaven-suppressing great power and the fire-concealing art instantly collided and exploded, enveloping the sky in a cloud of fire. It's actually the heaven-suppressing art's heaven and earth grand power. This child's talent is very strong. Huofu guarded against the nearby Zhentian clans, Baiheng, while watching the battle. He already had some recognition of the strength that Long Yu had displayed. However, in Huofu's view, the gap between the 9th stage of the martial Tao and the true spirit realm was completely insurmountable. In the end, this child would definitely be incinerated by Xiahou Tianjie. This spirit-level combat weapon was abandoned by you just like that. If it had a spirit, I'm sure it would be very distressed. A hint of ridicule appeared on Xiahou Tianjie's handsome face as he looked at Long Yu, who had dodged to the side, and the 9 Nether Dragon spear that had fallen to the ground. Do you think the spear is all I have? The corner of Long Yu's mouth curled up as he said. Of course, he was very reluctant to lose the 9 Nether Dragon spear, but he was confident that he could retrieve it. Moreover, in that situation, if he did not use the 9 Nether Dragon spear to destroy that burst of flames, he would definitely be severely injured. With his current cultivation at the 9th stage of the martial Tao, his basic strength was far inferior to his opponent's. With just the 9 Nether Dragon spear and the heaven-suppressing spear art, there was really no way for him to win. His trump card was still the 9 Nether Dragon fist. Naive. Xiahou Tianjie immediately laughed in disdain. I admit that relying on the spirit-level combat weapon, you do indeed have extraordinary strength. However, without the combat weapon, you are nothing. Is that so? Then do you dare to exchange a punch with me? Long Yu was trying to provoke him. If you want to exchange a punch with me, I won't. Xiahou Tianjie sneered and stomped his foot heavily on the ground, exploding flame earth. As soon as his voice fell, the ground in the entire area suddenly split open and a layer of raging flames instantly appeared, completely expelling the surrounding yin qi. At the same time, Long Yu felt as if his entire body was in a furnace, and the ground beneath his feet suddenly became boiling hot. Whether it was the raging flame explosion or the exploding flame earth, they were both spirit-level martial skills. This Xiahou Tianjie's strength was much stronger than Jing Yizhen and Tan Wuchuan. In the next moment, Long Yu's figure actually gradually dissipated from the exploding flames. It was actually just an afterimage. "Behind you!" Huofu shouted. Xiahou Tianjie's expression changed. He was about to turn around, but it was already too late. Chapter 100. As Long Yu's afterimage disappeared, a simulated Yellow Springs road appeared behind Xiahou Tianjie. The dense 9 hell qi contained within it instantly caused him to lose his composure and freeze on the spot. 9 hell explosion! Long Yu roared and punched the ground that was spewing flames. It turned out that when he separated from the 9 hell dragon spear, he had created an afterimage to attract everyone's attention. His main body had used the ghost flash that had reached the large success stage and temporarily turned into ghost qi. When Long Yu rode his horse to the Ling family's villa, he had comprehended the ghost flash to the large success stage and could finally turn into ghost qi. Ghost qi was colorless and formless. This way, no one would be able to find out where he was. Although it was only for an instant, under the current situation, he had already won. He turned into ghost qi and rushed behind Xiahou Tianjie. Then, he condensed into a body and punched out with a 9 hell fist. Xiahou Tianjie's attention was attracted by the afterimage, and he was not prepared at all. Then, he was hit by the 9 hell explosion from the ground and was enveloped by the 9 hell qi. Xiahou Tianjie, the expert at the second level of the true spirit realm, Huofu, who was watching the battle from the side, clenched his fists tightly. His eyes were filled with violence. When he saw that the situation was not right, he wanted to make a move. However, a powerful aura came from the side and enveloped him. He understood that if he moved, there would be an even more violent attack. Baihang had been watching from the side. Because of this, Huofu let Xiahou Tianjie deal with Long Yu. Who would have thought that Xiahou Tianjie was not a match for a mere 9th level of the martial path cultivator? After being enveloped by the 9 hell explosion, Xiahou Tianjie had no time to react. His entire body was filled with 9 hell qi, completely corroding his meridians and dantian. When the netherworld qi dissipated, the flames on the ground also gradually dissipated. What appeared in front of everyone was Xiahou Tianjie's originally handsome but now shriveled corpse. This scene made Huofu's eyes almost pop out of their sockets. "Brat, are you tired of living for killing people from my fire depository palace?" Huofu said coldly. Long Yu stood on the ground and took back the 9 nether dragon spear. He calmly said, "In this world, the strong are always respected. Could it be that only you are allowed to kill and others are not allowed to kill you?" "Exactly." Lu Guanming laughed heartily at the side. "If it wasn't for Brother Long's power, we would be the ones dying now. We have no enmity with your hidden fire hall. You are the one who came looking for trouble." Right now, Huofu was actually feeling a little regretful. Looking at Xiahou Tianjie's corpse, he coldly snorted. He really did not expect Long Yu to be so strong. He was actually able to kill an expert in the 1st rank of the true spirit realm at the 9th rank of the martial path. "The next time I see you, I will definitely burn you to death." Ruthlessness flashed in Huofu's eyes as he turned around and left. After Xiahou Tianjie's death, he was left alone while the Zhentian clan, including Baihang, had 7 or 8 people. No matter how strong Huofu was, he was not a match for them. Even if it was just Baihang, Huofu was not willing to face him. As such, he naturally had to leave first. As Huofu left, Long Yu let out a sigh of relief. With his current strength, it was really impossible for him to face an expert in the second rank of the true spirit realm. So powerful! Ling Han and Ling Yue watched Long Yu's battle from the side and felt that Long Yu was like a god of war. So what if he was only in the 9th rank of the martial path and had no true spirit? One punch to destroy the 9 hells, drunk in the Yellow Springs, devouring everything. Amazing, amazing! A carefree laugh rang out from behind a small hill. Then, a handsome man dressed in white walked out, followed by 3 other people. Bai Hang, Long Yu and the other 3 looked in Bai Hang's direction. When they saw the 3 people following Bai Hang, they couldn't help but frown. The 3 people were Yi Yan, Lu Shuqing, and Hua Yiluan. All 3 of them were core disciples of the Zhentian clan, but all of them had conflicts with Long Yu. Could it be that Bai Hang was related to them? The 3 of them followed Bai Hang out of the small hill, their complexions not looking too good. They clearly did not expect that the current Long Yu was strong enough to kill a true spirit realm expert. Senior Bai, Long Yu is really disrespectful. Lu Shuqing walked out from behind the small hill and looked at Long Yu with jealousy. He began to criticize him. Although he has some strength, he used it to do whatever he wanted. He even killed a core disciple of the Hidden Fire Hall. Isn't this making enemies for the Zhentian clan? When Long Yu heard this, he looked at Lu Shuqing and said indifferently, "According to what you said, the people from the Fire Depository Palace have bullied you and wanted to kill you. You should beg them to spare your life. Is that the only way? Or you should be like Yao Yan and run away with your tail between your legs. That is the only way to gain face for the Zhentian clan and raise the prestige of the Zhentian clan." This sentence was filled with sarcasm, and it made Lu Shuqing speechless. The entire matter was indeed brought upon by the people of the Hidden Fire Hall. Long Yu, in the face of oppression, had retaliated and killed one of them. This did not seem to be inappropriate. After saying this, Long Yu no longer cared about Lu Shuqing and the other 2. Instead, he turned his attention to Bai Hang. Bai Hang was dressed in white. As the second core disciple of the Zhentian clan, he was strong even though he was only 23 or 24 years old. As he walked over, he looked like he was floating in the air. "Long Yu, senior brother Bu has mentioned you to me before. He thinks highly of you." As Bai Hang walked over, he smiled and said, "It seems that he was right about you. I just didn't expect you to come to fight for the lunar fragment. I'm only here for my brother." Long Yu glanced at Ling Han and said, "If not for Ling Han's invitation, he would not have known that the lunar fragment was about to appear. Furthermore, he was not interested in the lunar fragment." "What a good coming for your brother." "Haha." Bai Hang smiled and said, "That's right. Since we have the same goal, why don't we travel together? We can take care of each other. How about that?" Long Yu frowned slightly. He glanced at the 3 people behind Bai Hang and shook his head, saying, "Travel together? Forget it. If he traveled with Yi Yan, Lu Shuqing, and Hua Yiluan, he might be stabbed in the back by the 3 of them. That would be tragic. Just like Yao Yan before. If he was not a trustworthy person, even if they traveled together, it would still be useless." Hearing this, Bai Hang smiled calmly. In reality, he was just putting on an act. If he really traveled with Long Yu, he would feel that Long Yu would drag him down. Furthermore, if they traveled together, there would at most be 1 lunar fragment. How would they split it? Then forget it. Let's part ways here. Bai Hang smiled and turned to leave. "Let's go." Hua Yiluan, a gray-clothed sword-wielding male who had once lost to Long Yu, took a look at Long Yu and then followed Bai Hang. Not long ago, he, Hua Yiluan, as a core disciple, took care of Bai Hang who had just entered the sect. But now, Bai Hang was already the number 2 core disciple. He took care of him, Hua Yiluan. Hua Yiluan was not young anymore. If he was unable to make a breakthrough, his life would probably pass like that. It was precisely because of this that he invited Bai Hang to come and try for him, to see if he could obtain the lunar fragment. Senior apprentice brother Bai, that Long Yu really didn't give you face. He invited them along out of goodwill, but they rejected. They really don't know what's good for them. Lu Shuqing followed behind Bai Hang and said flatteringly. However, Bai Hang ignored him. Although that Long Yu could kill a LV1 true spirit realm cultivator, he has offended the young master of Hidden Fire Temple. Without senior apprentice brother Bai's support, I'd like to see how Huofu will burn him to death. Yi Yan's eyes flashed with hatred as he spoke. However, Bai Hang also ignored him. Yi Yan and Lu Shuqing were only friends with Hua Yiluan. They did not know Bai Hang at all. Of course, Bai Hang did not have to give them face. After Bai Hang left with his men, Long Yu let out a sigh of relief. He was really afraid that Bai Hang was hostile towards him. If that was the case, with his current strength, he would definitely not be a match for Bai Hang. Although he had killed Xiaohou Tianjie just now, that move of exploding flame earth had caused him to feel a burning pain all over his body, especially the area under his feet, which had been charred black. If he had not cultivated the demon exorcist body, he would have been burned to death by the scorching ground. Senior apprentice brother Ling Han, let's go. Long Yu turned around and nodded at Ling Han. They had just entered the mineral vein, but they had already encountered two LV2 true spirit realm experts. It would not be easy to fight for the lunar fragment. Fortunately, Long Yu felt that he had a deeper understanding of the heavenly suppressing law in the battle earlier. If there's another stressful battle, I might be able to achieve the heavenly suppressing territory. Long Yu's eyes flashed. That way, even if I face a LV2 true spirit realm expert, I won't be defeated so quickly. Ling Han, Ling Yue, and Lu Guanming were completely impressed by Long Yu. Originally, Ling Han had treated Long Yu as a junior apprentice brother, but now he clearly knew that Long Yu was much stronger than him. The current Long Yu could already kill a LV1 true spirit realm expert alone, but he, Ling Han, was still only at the LV8 martial path. Ling Han had not initially wanted to rely on Long Yu to obtain the lunar fragment, but now it seemed that if he did not rely on Long Yu, he had no chance of obtaining the lunar fragment. The competition for the lunar fragment was too intense. However, Ling Han did not expect that Long Yu's strength would improve so quickly. It was so fast that it was unimaginable. Yao Yan's departure proved that Long Yu indeed had the strength to kill a LV1 true spirit realm expert. Ling Yue looked at Long Yu with a trace of admiration and curiosity. She did not expect her brother to be acquainted with such an outstanding expert and become good friends with him. Only Lu Guanming's face remained dark as he smiled heartlessly, not thinking too much about it. This guy was a one-track mind. He felt that it was completely normal for Long Yu to be able to kill a true spirit realm expert. What was there to be surprised about? He did not expect that such an achievement was rare in the entire Heavenly Mandate continent. The true spirit represented the absolute might of one's strength and the absolute nobility of one's status. Other than Long Yu, there were very few people who could kill a true spirit realm expert with the strength of the LV9 martial path. One could imagine what kind of heaven-defying figure Long Yu would become if he condensed his true spirit. Just thinking about it made Long Yu and the others look forward to it. It was very likely that Long Yu could create a legend of the Zhentian clan, or even a legend of the Tang Empire. As they walked, several wolf howls suddenly came from a certain direction, causing the four to feel nervous. Be careful, it's the gray wolves of the mine. They usually move in packs and hunt for food. Our mountain village's miners have suffered greatly. Chapter 101. Wolves? Long Yu was puzzled. This mine is filled with dense yin qi. It shouldn't be suitable for any living creatures. Why are there wolves here? You might not know this, but these wolves are formed from yin qi and possess spirituality. Ling Han explained, you can think of them as the guardians of the yin mine. Any martial cultivators or demonic beasts that invade this mine are their natural enemies. There's actually such an existence. Long Yu was shocked. Yin Qi had condensed into an azure wolf that had gained sentience. Wasn't this similar to a battle weapon that had gained sentience? Yes, the heavenly mandate continent is extremely vast and full of wonders. Ling Han's expression was solemn. The royal family has to send an army to exterminate these wolves every year to kill most of them. However, due to the dense Yin Qi in the mine, more wolves will appear every once in a while, and we can't kill them all. I see. Let me take a look. Long Yu nodded and swept the 9 abyss dragon spear in his hand. A gust of air rolled him up, and he leaped hundreds of feet into the air. He looked around, and his expression darkened. In the direction they were heading, there was a large pack of wolves with Yin Qi wandering. If they continued forward, they would definitely encounter a large pack of wolves. Furthermore, the pack of wolves seemed to have sensed their arrival, and several of them were running in their direction. Long Yu landed from the sky and steadied himself. He immediately said, "Everyone be careful. There are many wolves attacking." "Brother Long, we don't have to be too nervous. Although there are many wolves condensed from Yin Qi, each one of them is only at the 5th or 6th stage of the martial path. It's rare to see stronger existences appear." Ling Han said, "With our strength we can even force our way through. I'm just worried that we will be ambushed by other martial cultivators when we charge through the wolf pack." "You're underestimating them." Long Yu's expression was solemn. "Just from what I can see, there are several powerful wolves that have condensed their true spirit. The situation is more serious than you say." "What?" Ling Han and Ling Yue were both shocked. "A powerful ash wolf that has condensed a true spirit? The gray wolves of the true spirit secret realm rarely appear in a year. Why are there so many of them now?" Ling Yue was clearly skeptical. However, Ling Han's brows were tightly furrowed. Could it be that it's because the extreme Yin fragment is about to appear that these wolves have condensed their true spirits? No matter what, we have to give it a try. They are already here. Long Yu sensed the cold, killing intent coming from a few wolves not far away and knew that they had been targeted. It was obviously impossible to change direction. "It's finally my turn." Lu Guanming's face lit up with excitement. After watching Long Yu kill Xiahou Tianjie, his hands had been itching for a fight. Now that he could finally make his move, he didn't care whether his opponent was formed from Yin Qi or a real living being, as long as he could practice. Ling Yue was also eager to give it a try. She wanted to let Long Yu know that she wasn't powerless. However, when the first few wolves rushed over, her delicate little face suddenly froze. True spirit, the leading wolf had indeed condensed a true spirit. A phantom of the lunar claw floated behind the wolf, emitting a sinister and terrifying aura. As for the other wolves, they were all at the 8th or 9th level of the martial Dao. Although there were only 6 wolves in total, their overall strength was already stronger than Long Yu's group of 4. "Go!" Long Yu did not show the slightest bit of fear. With the 9 nether dragon spear in hand, he charged forward. 9 nether, activate! Layers of spear shadows. This was a battle of life and death. Long Yu did not hold back at all. Furthermore, there was no need to compete with these strange creatures formed from Yin Qi. If he had any moves, he could just use them. Kill. Long Yu's figure flickered as his body transformed into a gentle breeze. In an instant, he arrived in front of one of the wolves covered in Yin energy. This wolf was probably at the 9th level of the martial Dao. When it stood up, it was the same size as Long Yu. When it saw Long Yu attacking, it immediately clawed at him, bringing with it gusts of cold wind. However, in the next moment, layers of spear shadows swept over. Following the descent of the heaven-suppressing force, the wolf was instantly shattered. Long Yu took the lead and killed a 9th-level martial Dao wolf with a single move of the heaven-suppressing spear art. Immediately after, He turned the tip of his spear and the heaven-suppressing force enveloped the entire area, suppressing the speed of the remaining 5 wolves. Imperial Boulder, kill! Lu Guanming laughed out loud. With a raise of his hand, he immediately controlled the surrounding boulders and threw them at the 5 wolves. Lu Guanming and Ling Han were both at the 8th level of the martial Dao, while Ling Yue was at the 6th level of the martial Dao. Thus, after Lu Guanming made his move, Ling Han also used his Grand White Spirit. As he attacked the wolves, he paid more attention to protecting Ling Yue. With Ling Yue's cultivation, if these wolves were to get close to her, she would definitely die. Layers of spear shadows. With the Imperial Dragon's spear in his hand, he swept it horizontally, instantly forcing back the 5 wolves that pounced over. Among them, the wolf that had condensed the great Yin Claw only retreated slightly before immediately pouncing toward Long Yu. A dense Yin energy enveloped him. Although the wolf formed from Yin energy has condensed a true spirit, can it really defeat a true spirit realm expert? Long Yu wasn't afraid. He directly threw the 9 Nether Dragon spear at a 9th level martial Dao wolf. Without any suspense, the spear carried a terrifying 9 nether aura and instantly shattered the body of the wolf, causing it to dissipate into the air. Immediately after, he clenched his fist and punched at the great Yin wolf. 9 Nether Dragon Fist, imitating the path of the Yellow Springs, kill. Long Yu swung his fist, but he suddenly realized that the great Yin wolf wasn't intimidated by the 9 nether aura at all. As expected, it's not a real living being. However, this punch will be enough to make you feel better. Long Yu thought to himself as his fist finally collided with the opponent's great Yin Claw. After a loud explosion, Long Yu took a few steps back. The difference in basic strength put him at a disadvantage in the process of a head-on clash. However, right after that, he continued to slam his fist into the ground. 9 Nether Explosion. The punch smashed into the ground, almost connecting to the Yellow Springs. Immediately, a 9 Nether explosion rushed out of the ground and enveloped the great Yin wolf. The Yin energy that had condensed into the great Yin wolf was instantly dispersed by the 9 Nether energy. The entire great Yin wolf was annihilated by the impact of the 9 Nether explosion. Even the condensed great Yin Claw true spirit was instantly reduced to ashes. This wasn't the first time Long Yu had killed a powerful existence that had condensed a true spirit. At this moment, his technique was already incomparably proficient and had reached the point of perfection. When he killed the great Yin wolf, the other wolves were also killed by Lu Guanming and Ling Han. Lu Guanming's high-grade martial skill, Imperial Boulder, had already reached the perfection realm. When used, his defense was extremely strong and his attack power was also extremely good. However, what he used to kill these wolves was not the Imperial Boulder but the devil-subduing Vajrasil. Long Yu knew that Lu Guanming was Yu Shuiyun's disciple. Naturally, he knew the wonders of Long Yu's cultivation of the demon-subduing tyrant body. Therefore, he also learned from Long Yu and chose to cultivate the demon-subduing tyrant body. To Lu Guanming, using the devil-subduing Vajrasil to deal with these wolves was extremely effective. As for Ling Han, he had used the Great White Noble Qi. Just like Lu Guanming, although he was only at the 8th level of the martial Dao, he could kill the 9th level martial Dao Yin wolf like a dog. I don't need to use the devil-subduing Vajrasil. Although this move can restrain Yin spirits, its power is not as great as the 9 Nether Dragon Spear and the 9 Nether Dragon Fist. Long Yu thought to himself. Right now, he was only at the 9th level of the martial Dao. It was impossible for him to kill the great Yin wolf that had condensed a true spirit with the devil-subduing Vajrasil. He still had to use his own unique method of violence. Brother Long, the bodies of these wolves all contain a Yin energy pill. Because the Yin energy has condensed into a wolf, most of the Yin energy pill contains demonic energy. After the wolf pack was completely taken care of, Ling Han walked forward and said with a smile, If you absorb the energy pill in the body of these wolves, the effect will not be inferior to swallowing a high-grade pill. When Long Yu heard this, he nodded and looked around. He had just killed a total of 6 energy wolves, leaving behind 6 energy pills that were glowing with a faint light on the ground. It could be discovered that the stronger the energy wolf, the larger the energy pill it contained. Naturally, it would have a better effect on raising one's cultivation level. You guys keep these energy pills for now. You can slowly absorb them when you get back. Long Yu felt the largest energy pill, the one contained within the body of the great wolf. It was probably only slightly better than a high-grade pill. This little bit of effect was not enough for him to condense his true spirit, so there was no need to waste time absorbing it. Ling Han also knew that time was tight, so he put away all 6 energy pills. Then, the 4 of them once again headed towards their destination. In the Heavenly Mandate continent, although martial arts practitioners could rely on pills to quickly raise their cultivation level, the effect of pills of the same nature would be reduced after taking a second one. It might even be less than half of the first one, and these 6 energy pills were the same. After taking one, the effect of taking a second one would be greatly reduced. Otherwise, it would not be so difficult to raise one's cultivation level in the Heavenly Mandate continent. Because of this, Long Yu's Dragon Seal of 9 underworlds could completely absorb the effects of the pills, which was why it was so heaven-defying. One supreme-grade pill was equivalent to 3 pills in his hands. One could imagine how much of an advantage he had compared to others. The 4 of them headed forward and felt a dense energy attacking them from afar. The location where the lunar fragment will appear is not far ahead. However, there are so many wolves in front. How do we get there? Just like what Long Yu had seen before, there were hundreds of energy wolves wandering in a circle in front of them. With just the 4 of them, it was impossible for them to pass. Just when they were at their wits' end, many figures suddenly appeared in the surroundings and immediately attacked the large group of wolves. It's Bai Hang and Hua Fu. Chapter 102. With a glance, Long Yu saw a total of 4 experts at the second level of the true spirit realm charging towards the large pack of wolves. Among them, the Zhentian clan core disciple, Bai Hang, who was dressed in a white robe and wielded a 3-foot sword, charged into the pack of wolves like a flying immortal. The heavens might sword skill that had been cultivated to the pinnacle realm. Bai Hang's move was much more powerful than the one that Deacon Elder Jing Yizhen had displayed. A casual swing of the sword could cut a wolf into pieces. The heavens might shook the area and the wolves that had yet to form their true spirits were instantly destroyed. Bai Hang's strength has reached the pinnacle LV2 true spirit realm. A casual swing of his sword is more powerful than my full strength. Long Yu's heart skipped a beat. The other person was dressed in a fiery red robe. He was the young palace master of the Fire Depository Palace, Hua Fu. Hua Fu's eyes were filled with brutality. His entire body seemed to be wrapped in flames as he charged into the pack of wolves like a fireball. The burning flames were very effective in restraining the wolves. With a casual wave of Hua Fu's hand, raging flames exploded, incinerating quite a few Inchi gray wolves. He was much more efficient than Long Yu. It's the same raging flame explosion, but the might of Hua Fu's raging flame explosion is much stronger than Xiahou Tianjie's. Long Yu saw it and began to compare. If I was fighting against Hua Fu and not Xiahou Tianjie, I'm afraid he would only need to use this move to severely injure me. After stepping into the true spirit realm, the difference between LV1 and LV2 was too great. If they were to fight, an expert at LV2 True Spirit Realm could fight against at least 3 LV1 True Spirit Realm opponents. It would not be a problem for him to fight against 3 at once. However, in the field, the most dazzling one was neither Bai Hang nor Hua Fu. Although the speed at which the 2 of them killed the energy ash wolves was extremely fast, they were still not as fast as the other person. It was a beautiful young girl in her 20s. She wore a black outfit that outlined her intoxicating curve. Her fair and soft hands were waving two scarlet short swords agilely. The blades of the swords flashed with a white flowing light. As her graceful figure twisted, streaks of white light shot out. Each of the streaks of white light could smash a wolf with Yin-Chi into pieces. In the blink of an eye, wherever her figure went, the wolves of Yin-Chi were completely annihilated and dispersed into dense Yin-Chi. Amidst the dusky Yin-Chi, her perfect figure was faintly discernible under her black clothes. It was even more beautiful. Even the gazes of Baihang and Huofu, who were nearby, were focused on her from time to time. "That's Lu Yuan." Ling Han seemed to have noticed that Long Yu was observing the young girl and introduced. Lu Yuan's position in the Qingqing Pavilion is equivalent to that of Baihang. She is also at the peak of LV2 True Spirit Realm. Furthermore, she is known as the hope of the Lu family in the Imperial City. She is the strongest person in the Lu family. Lu Yuan. Long Yu frowned slightly. There were people from the Lu family everywhere. Among the 7 sects of the Tang Kingdom, there was Lu Mingqing from the Ice sect, Lu Yi from the Broken Blade sect, and even Lu Yuan from the Qingqing Pavilion. And this Lu Yuan was actually the strongest person in the Lu family in the Imperial City. I remember that Feng Yao was so obsessed with cultivation because she was bullied by someone when she was young. It seems to be this Lu Yuan? Long Yu thought to himself as he turned his attention to the last expert at LV2 True Spirit Realm. The person was wearing a red robe. He was skinny and had a seductive face. At first glance, it was hard to tell whether he was a man or a woman. However, this person's strength was also extremely terrifying. With a casual wave of his hand, flowers and leaves would appear out of thin air. Each flower and leaf was sharper than a sword. They easily cut the wolf formed from Yin-Chi into countless pieces, causing it to dissipate into waves of Yin-Chi. Long Yu seemed to have seen this move before. Hua Buxi. Long Yu narrowed his eyes as he suddenly recalled the LV8 Martial Path siblings, Hua Yun and Hua Qing, whom he had killed in the royal ginseng forest. The skinny woman, Hua Yun, had used the martial skill plucking flowers and leaves. It was not the martial skill of the Ice sect, but the martial skill of her family. At that time, Feng Yao had warned Long Yu that Hua Buxi, the elder brother of Hua Yun and Hua Qing, would not let him go so easily. Now it seemed that the seductive figure in front of him was undoubtedly Hua Buxi. So it's a man. Long Yu came to a realization. If Feng Yao had not told him that Hua Buxi was the elder brother of the siblings, Long Yu would not have been able to tell the gender of Hua Buxi. Of course, gender was not the main point. The main point was that Hua Buxi's strength was indeed on par with the other 3 experts. Whether it was Baihang, Huofu, Lu Yuan, or Hua Buxi, none of the 4 experts was a match for the current Long Yu. It seems that it will be too difficult to get the lunar fragment this time, Long Yu thought to himself. However, it was impossible for him to back down now. Regardless of whether he could get it or not, he had to give it a try. As for Hua Buxi, Long Yu was not particularly afraid of him. Although he was no match for Hua Buxi with his current skills, it was not a problem for him to stay alive. The 4 experts attacked at the same time, and in an instant, hundreds of Yin-Chi wolves were scattered. In just a few breaths' time, 30 to 40 Yin-Chi wolves had been killed, turning into Yin-Chi and disappearing in the air. The remaining Yin-Chi wolves fled in all directions under the leadership of a few lunar wolves that had condensed their true spirits. Evidently, they had seen the power of the 4 experts and did not want to fight them head-on. The 4 experts did not give up. They each went in 4 different directions and quickly disappeared from everyone's sight. "Let's go now." Long Yu waved his hand and immediately rushed forward with Ling Han, Ling Yue, and Lu Guanming. They were prepared to break through the area in front of them. When the Yin-Chi wolves were dispersed by the 4 experts, the place where the lunar fragment would appear was not far away. It was a deep pit surrounded by mountains. There were several paths that led to it. Now, the path that Long Yu and Ling Han were taking was the closest one. After 5 minutes, the four finally approached the deep pit surrounded by mountains. A gust of yin qi greeted them, as if it was trying to corrode their souls. This is the lunar qi. Long Yu's heart shook. The yin qi coming from the deep pit was more than 10 times thicker than the yin qi in the mine outside. However, he could feel that the two kinds of yin qi were similar. Perhaps he could guess that the lunar fragment was formed from incomparably thick yin qi? Of course, how the lunar fragment was formed was not something that Long Yu should be concerned with. The most important thing was how to obtain the lunar fragment. The four followed the shortest path and finally arrived at the entrance of the deep pit. From this entrance they could see the entire deep pit. Long Yu looked over and could see that this deep pit was about the same size as the Feng residence of Jade Pass City or the Ling family residence. From one end to the other, there was a distance of several hundred zhang. In the deep pit there were no yin qi wolves. There was only thick and dense yin qi that constantly spewed out from the ground. It was impossible to see the situation inside the deep pit or on the other side. There are already people inside. Ling Han frowned slightly and said, I grew up here and have a unique sense for yin qi. Right now there are already 3 groups of people inside the deep pit. Can you feel who it is? Long Yu asked. Ling Han was sensitive to yin qi. This was good news. At least it would give them an advantage in the process of fighting for the lunar fragment. That won't do. I can only feel that there are a total of 5 people standing in 3 different directions. They have already entered the deep pit. Ling Han said. 5 people, divided into 3 groups? Long Yu frowned slightly. He could not guess who the other party was. Stay here and don't move. I will go in and take a look. If there is anything wrong, you must take care of your own lives. After Long Yu said this, he did not wait for Ling Han and the others to react. He jumped into the deep pit. His figure was instantly enveloped by gray yin qi. He disappeared from the sight of Ling Han and the others, causing the 3 to feel some hatred. This guy actually went out by himself and left them behind. Of course, they could understand what Long Yu was thinking. After all, those who came to fight for the extreme yin fragment were all experts of the true spirit realm. There were even existences like Bai Hang and Lu Yuan who were at the 2nd level of the true spirit realm. With their cultivation of 2 8th level martial Dao and 1 6th level martial Dao, if they were to clash with those people, they would definitely die without even knowing how they died. However, could Long Yu, who was only at the 9th stage of the martial path, really contend with those experts and obtain the lunar fragment? This time, even Lu Guanming, who was extremely confident in Long Yu, did not have any confidence at all. Long Yu jumped into the deep pit and the dense yin qi immediately enveloped him. At a glance, he could only see the scene within 100 feet in front of him. Beyond that, there were layers of gray yin qi that obstructed his vision like a fog. Footsteps constantly entered Long Yu's ears, causing him to walk towards the source of the footsteps. Duanmu Tsonglong Yang Tian Sua. Soon, Long Yu saw 2 figures appear in front of him. One of them was dressed in white with a cold expression. If it wasn't Yang Tiansua, who had threatened Long Yu before, who else could it be? As for the other person, he was dressed in green with a straight posture. He was the 4th-ranked core disciple of the Zhentian clan, Duanmu Tsonglong. He was at the peak of the 1st level of the true spirit realm. When Long Yu saw the 2 of them also saw Long Yu and their eyes lit up. Haha, it's this kid and he's alone. What a big surprise. Duanmu Tsonglong laughed. Yang Tiansua, do you think we should kill him now or let him go on account of us being from the same sect? He's here for the lunar fragment. Since we've met, why don't we finish him off first? Yang Tiansua said coldly. He seemed to have no feelings for Long Yu who came from the same sect. Well said. Duanmu Tsonglong looked at Long Yu with disdain. A mere 9th rank of the martial path dares to covet the lunar fragment? You're courting death. Don't blame me. As his voice fell, he didn't hesitate in the slightest, stepping forward towards Long Yuxuan. Soul-shaking fist. Duanmu Tsong Long bellowed, and a fist flew through the air, intending to intimidate Imperial Dragon's soul. Long Yu was mentally prepared when he saw the two of them. Now that Duanmu Tsonglong was really going to attack him, there was no hope left in his heart. Duanmu Tsonglong, to kill your own sect member, I can't believe you would do that. Long Yu snorted coldly. With the spear in his hand, layers of spear shadows descended along with the heaven-suppressing grand aura. Since Duanmu Tsonglong was heartless, then there was no need for him, Long Yu. Chapter 103. Without a word, Duanmu Tsonglong threw a punch at Long Yu. As for Long Yu, he gripped the spear in his hand tightly. Spear shadows were released, accompanied by a violent pressure that dispersed much of the dense yin qi around him. Soul-shaking fist. If I'm hit by his punch, I won't be able to use any martial skills. Long Yu thought as he attacked. With my current martial Dao realm, if I can't use martial skills against Duanmu Tsonglong, only death awaits me. Layers upon layers of spear shadows swept out, while Long Yu's body suddenly transformed into spectral qi. Unexpectedly, his entire person dissipated within the dense yin qi. Duanmu Tsonglong's punch, which was powerful enough to shock the soul, collided with the spear shadows and exploded with a loud bang. The spear shadows turned into air currents and collapsed in an instant. However, Long Yu disappeared before his eyes. 9 Nether Dragon Fist. Long Yu's figure suddenly appeared above Duanmu Tsonglong's head and punched out. At the same time, a yellow springs path materialized from above and enveloped Duanmu Tsonglong. The dense 9 Nether Chi stunned Duanmu Tsonglong. 9 Nether Dragon Fist was a supreme-grade martial skill. Its effect even surpassed some spiritual-level martial skills. Using this move, Long Yu had already killed many strong enemies, and now, Duanmu Tsonglong was also stunned by the simulated Yellow Springs path, and was about to be killed by Long Yu's fist. Senior brother Duanmu. Yang Tianxue was shocked. Why wasn't Duanmu Tsonglong moving? He didn't have time to think. Suddenly, he used the supreme-grade martial skill, Sky Wave Crossing. A white Xian Qi wave swept towards Long Yu. Ha ha! Long Yu laughed. I didn't expect senior brother Duanmu to be so timid. You want to use a sneak attack against a mere 9th-level martial path cultivator like me? As soon as he finished speaking, he took out the 9 Nether Dragon spear from his back and casually swept it out, easily dispersing Yang Tianxue's white profound energy ripples. Then, the blizzard boots on his feet flashed and a layer of ice and snow swirled out, instantly binding Yang Tianxue. Even the Xian Qi in his body slowed down. Following that, Long Yu ignored Yang Tianxue. His main opponent was still Duanmu Tsonglong. Unfortunately, because of Yang Tianxue's interruption, Duanmu Tsonglong had already recovered from his daze and immediately noticed Long Yu, who was above his head. Heaven-suppressing charm. Soul-stirring fist. Duanmu Tsonglong hollered, and the silhouette of a true spirit Jiao dragon appeared behind him, and with an angry roar, it flew towards Long Yu. It's the Flood Dragon True Spirit. Long Yu's heart skipped a beat, and then he released the heaven-suppressing aura and continued to attack with the 9 Nether Dragon Fist. Even though he had comprehended the heaven-suppressing aura, due to the difference in their realms, his heaven-suppressing aura was about the same strength as Duanmu Tsonglong's heaven-suppressing charm. The realms of the laws they comprehended offset each other, but could Long Yu's 9 Nether Dragon Fist, which was condensed with the 9 Nether Chi, fight against the Flood Dragon True Spirit? Let me see if a mere Flood Dragon can compare to a 9 Nether Dragon. A cold light flashed in Long Yu's eyes as he activated the 9 Nether Dragon seal. Immediately, the 9 Nether Chi wrapped around his body. 9 Nether Dragon Fist, with one punch, the Yellow Springs wailed and the 9 Nether trembled. With a loud bang, Long Yu's fist collided with the Flood Dragon True Spirit's silhouette. Then, the Flood Dragon True Spirit's silhouette roared, and a tyrannical heaven-suppressing aura burst out, sending Long Yu flying. The power of the True Spirit is indeed too strong, Long Yu thought in his heart. However, at this moment, he suddenly came to a realization. Before coming to the Ling clan villa, he cultivated in the clan valley for 3 days, and his heaven-suppressing aura had made great progress. He was only one opportunity away from comprehending the realm. Now, after a series of fierce battles, he finally broke through this bottleneck and grasped this opportunity. Heaven-suppressing realm. Long Yu's figure was sent flying by the Flood Dragon True Spirit's silhouette, but at the same time, an incomparably powerful pressure was released from Long Yu's body. Realm. At the moment when he clashed with Duanmu Tsonglong's Flood Dragon True Spirit's silhouette, Long Yu finally mastered the heaven-suppressing realm. In the Heavenly Mandate continent, martial arts practitioners could only master greater power and borrow the laws of heaven and earth by cultivating the mind method. As for the comprehension of the mind method, it was divided into 4 realms. The first was the conception, followed by the divine charm, followed by the heaven and earth force, and finally the realm. If one mastered the realm, he could borrow the laws of heaven and earth with just a wave of his hand. This was undoubtedly a qualitative leap for the combat effectiveness of martial arts practitioners. As Long Yu released the heaven-suppressing realm, the area within a radius of 200 feet around him became his realm. The realm I finally broke through. Long Yu stood on the ground and raised his head to look at Duanmu Tsonglong. Although the realm and the heaven and earth force were only one realm apart, the difference between the two was like heaven and earth. Not to mention the difference between the divine charm and the realm. Duanmu Tsonglong felt a terrifying pressure shrouding him, causing the qi in his body to stagnate and his limbs to stiffen. Even a casual movement required a great deal of strength. This scene made Duanmu Tsonglong's expression change greatly. The realm, it's the heaven-suppressing realm. How is this possible? Duanmu Tsonglong's eyes were filled with fear. How could a mere 9th tier of the martial path comprehend the heaven-suppressing realm? One had to know that even Duanmu Tsonglong, who had condensed his true spirit, could not master the realm, and it was still very far away. How could this Long Yu master the realm? However, the powerful aura that emanated from Long Yu's body was indeed the pressure of the realm. Without a doubt, even Duanmu Tsonglong, who had condensed his true spirit, was completely suppressed by Long Yu's heaven-suppressing realm. The serpent dragon true spirit immediately withered. Not to mention Yang Tianxua, who was enveloped by the heaven-suppressing realm, was unable to resist the pressure. He knelt on the ground, his face covered in cold sweat and his eyes filled with disbelief. What kind of freak was this Long Yu? The heaven-suppressing realm suppresses everything under the heavens. Everyone around me will be suppressed by my realm. Long Yu could even clearly sense the various details within a radius of 20 feet around him. Even the flow of yin qi was being grasped by him, and he was aware of it. He took a step forward and the heaven-suppressing realm's pressure on Duanmu Tsonglong intensified, causing Duanmu Tsonglong's body to tremble. 9 Hell's explosion. Long Yu's eyes flashed with a cold light. Since he had intimidated Duanmu Tsonglong, he would not show any mercy. He punched the ground. Purring! It was as if the entire pit had been shaken by his punch. Then, a gust of 9 Hell's qi instantly condensed into an explosion and gushed out from Duanmu Tsonglong's feet, enveloping his entire figure in green. As a fellow disciple of the Zhentian clan, I did not want to touch you. However, since you want to kill me, you should be prepared to be killed. Long Yu stood up, stood still, and retracted the heaven-suppressing realm. If others do not offend me, I will not offend them. The 9 Hell's explosion erupted, accompanied by Duanmu Tsonglong's tragic cry. Then there was no more sound. Enveloped by Long Yu's heaven-suppressing field, Even with Duanmu Songlong's cultivation realm, he was unable to move at all. He was instantly killed by Long Yu's 9 nether explosive current. Although Yang Tianxue no longer had the pressure of the heaven-suppressing realm, he still knelt on the ground, trembling. He looked at where Duanmu Songlong was, but after the 9 hells qi dissipated, what appeared in front of him was a corroded corpse. He could not help but shiver. "You're a demon, you're a demon!" Yang Tianxue looked at Long Yu's black figure and shouted in panic. Rumble! Long Yu moved his feet, his figure flickered, and he swept out with the 9 hells dragon spear. Layers of spear shadows. The terrifying lethality killed Yang Tianxue in an instant, causing him to widen his eyes and fall to the ground. Long Yu had never been a kind person. Since the other party wanted to kill him, he had to resist with all his might. If he was just an ordinary 9th stage martial path cultivator, he would have died many times over. He killed to protect himself, that was all. Thick yin qi filled the air, accompanied by 9 hells qi. The area around Long Yu was silent, with only Duanmu Songlong and Yang Tianxue's corpses lying on the ground. He was the only one left standing. However, Long Yu was not the only one watching this scene. Wonderful, wonderful! A laugh that was neither male nor female seemed to come from all directions and entered Long Yu's ears, causing his heart to tremble. Is it Hua Buxi? This caused Long Yu to tense up. Hua Buxi was an expert at the 2nd layer of the true spirit realm. He was much stronger than Duanmu Songlong. Most importantly, the murderous intent coming from all directions. Long Yu knew that Hua Buxi must have known that he was the one who killed Hua Yun and Hua Qing in the ancient ginseng forest. And this was naturally told to him by Feng Yao. Otherwise, how could he know? Feng Yao. Long Yu squinted his eyes. The feud between him and Feng Yao had increased once again. If it was the Long Yu from not too long ago, if he encountered Hua Buxi, his only option would be to flee for his life. If he relied on the nether dragon's soaring leap, he would be able to leap 100 feet nimbly. Hua Buxi might not be able to catch up to him. But now that Long Yu had comprehended the heaven-suppressing domain, he wanted to have a fight with Hua Buxi. Although his opponent was strong, being a 2nd stage true spirit realm cultivator, the power of the heaven-suppressing domain was not ordinary. Under the suppression of the heaven-suppressing domain, Long Yu believed that he would not be defeated so easily. At the very least, he could test the strength of a 2nd stage true spirit realm cultivator. While he was still deep in thought, the sound of sharp weapons piercing through the air could be heard from all directions. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. A large number of sharp petals and leaves flew over from all directions. At this moment, in front of Long Yu, behind him, left, right, and above him, all directions were filled with flying petals and leaves, piercing through the vast sky and flying towards him. Chapter 104. The flower-plucking flying leaves was a high-grade martial technique of the Hua family. Long Yu had never heard of the Hua family before. It must be a family from another city in the Great Tang Kingdom, similar to the Feng family from Jade Pass City. Although the flower-plucking flying leaves was only a high-grade martial technique, its power was far beyond Long Yu's imagination when it was executed by Hua Buxi, who was at level 2 of the true spirit secret realm. Domain release. Long Yu could have used the nether dragon leaping technique to leap 1,000 feet and leave this place. However, he wanted to see the difference between him and Hua Buxi, so he chose to release his heaven-suppressing domain in an attempt to suppress the sharp petals and leaves. The moment the heaven-suppressing domain was released, the area within 200 feet around Long Yu was completely covered by the heaven-suppressing law. The petals that were flying towards him were instantly suppressed, their speed reduced by more than half. Long Yu executed the heaven-suppressing spear art with the 9 nether dragon spear, and with a sweep of his spear, all the petals and leaves fell to the ground. The powerful attack of Hua Buxi, who was at level 2 of the true spirit secret realm, was instantly countered by Long Yu. Where is he? Long Yu's heart skipped a beat as he looked around. A thick fog blocked his vision, making it impossible for him to see where Hua Buxi was. He wanted to track down his opponent based on his murderous intent, but Hua Buxi's murderous intent came from all directions, making it impossible for Long Yu to pinpoint his opponent's location. He's too fast. Long Yu was a little puzzled. If his opponent did not show himself and simply moved around 200 feet away, he would not be able to deal with him even with the heaven-suppressing domain. Forget about defeating Hua Buxi, he would not even be able to withstand his opponent's attack for long. This was because the heaven-suppressing domain consumed too much of his energy. Even though his dantian had been tempered and his xian qi recovery rate had doubled, the xian qi in his body still dissipated like flowing water after he released the heaven-suppressing domain. Even if he was at his peak, he would only be able to maintain the heaven-suppressing domain for 5 minutes before his xian qi was completely depleted. Looks like before I condense my true spirit, even if I have comprehended the heaven-suppressing domain, it's still not suitable to fight for a long time. Long Yu thought to himself. The heaven-suppressing domain could only temporarily suppress his opponent and increase his explosive power. Right now, it was still difficult for him to win against an expert at the second layer of the true spirit realm, such as Hua Buxi. Most importantly, even if Long Yu relied on the supreme rank martial skill, 9 Abyss Dragon Fist, it would be difficult for him to injure his opponent, much less kill him. The 9th rank of the martial path and the 2nd rank of the true spirit secret realm had a difference of 7 to 8 times. Even if it was Long Yu, he would not be able to overcome such a huge gap and kill his opponent. Not bad, it's actually a domain. It's much stronger than I imagined. No wonder you could kill my beloved brother and sister. Hua Buxi's androgynous voice drifted over from all directions, making it impossible to pinpoint his location. Then, the sound of sharp qi tearing through the air continued to be heard. Once again, sharp petals and leaves rained down on Long Yu like a storm. Hua Buxi must have seen how Long Yu had killed Duanmu Songlong with a single punch, so he did not intend to fight him head-on. Instead, he planned to exhaust all of Long Yu's xian qi first. Heaven-suppressing domain. Long Yu released his domain and brandished his spear. The 9 Abyss Qi burst out with layers of spear shadows, once again destroying all the petals and leaves. However, he still had no idea where his opponent was. Is this the only way to defend? I don't have much xian qi left in my body. Long Yu's heart sank. Hua Buxi was much stronger than him. There was no doubt about that. If that was the case, the other 3 experts at the second layer of the true spirit secret realm would also be the same. Long Yu had no chance of winning against any of them. The gap between the realms is too difficult to overcome. Long Yu thought to himself as he swung his 9 Abyss Dragon Spear. A gust of qi rolled up, allowing him to leap hundreds of feet into the air. In an instant, he rushed out of the deep pit. He lowered his head and looked around. His body was completely shrouded in thick yin qi, making it impossible to see who was in the deep pit. However, he was keenly aware that the yin qi in the entire pit seemed to be gradually dispersing in all directions, causing the visibility in the pit to be much greater than before. It's starting to disperse? Long Yu furrowed his brows. After which, his entire body shot down like a meteor, landing on another location within the deep pit. This jump allowed him to leap hundreds of feet into the air, freeing him from Hua Buxi's pursuit. Especially in the deep pit that was filled with dense yin qi, Hua Buxi would not have been able to locate him. If not for the huge commotion caused by the battle between Long Yu and Duanmu Songlong, Hua Buxi would not have been able to locate Long Yu. I should take this opportunity to rest. Long Yu hid in the dense yin qi and immediately sat down cross-legged. He urged his dantian to beat in sync with his heart, quickly recovering the xian qi he had used up. The deep pit was vast, and everything within hundreds of feet was shrouded in qi. However, this qi was gradually dissipating. As Long Yu sat down to rest, he occasionally heard footsteps coming from nearby. Only then did he raise his guard and shift his position slightly. Very quickly, the other party had gone far away again. Even after Long Yu had completely recovered his xian qi, no one had been able to locate him. This made him secretly heave a sigh of relief. He stood up and looked around. Suddenly, he realized that the qi in the deep pit was becoming thinner and thinner. Through the gray and hazy qi, he could occasionally see figures moving about hundreds of feet away. The qi is dispersing? As Long Yu thought of this, he saw that all the qi in the deep pit was dispersing out of the deep pit. More than half of it had disappeared. At this moment, he was somewhat thankful that the qi had dispersed after he had fully recovered. Otherwise, he would have to face Hua Buxi's pursuit first. Although he was not afraid of the other party, if he was not in a good state, it would be terrible if he failed miserably. He only had one life, so Long Yu had to be careful. As the qi gradually dissipated, the entire scene in the deep pit fell into the eyes of Long Yu and the others. This was an abandoned mine that had been dug out. The bottom of the mine was full of potholes and was uneven. From the cracks at the bottom of the mine, dense qi continuously seeped out. It was this qi that caused the deep pit to become gray and hazy. However, at this moment, the qi that was constantly seeping out quickly dispersed in all directions. No one knew what had happened. Long Yu surveyed his surroundings and saw that there were already dozens of people who had entered the deep pit. At this moment, the dozens of people were facing off against each other. Even if some of them noticed Long Yu, they did not pay much attention to him. In the eyes of these people, a mere rank 9 martial path cultivator was not worth mentioning. Only a thin man in a red robe with a bewitching face paid a little attention to Long Yu. It was Hua Buxi, who had attacked Long Yu previously. However, Hua Buxi did not rush over to kill Long Yu. Instead, he was discussing something with a few others. In the field, 4 experts had gathered together. Bai Heng, Huafu, Hua Buxi, and Lu Yuan. The 4 experts of the rank 2 true spirit realm had gathered together. Among them, Huafu looked the most excited, Bai Heng had a graceful smile on his face, and Hua Buxi had a cold expression on his face. As for Lu Yuan, who was dressed in black, she had stabbed her 2 scarlet short swords into the ground. Her alluring figure was leaning on the sword hilt. Her long black hair was like a willow hanging down to her waist. As the wind blew, it tugged at the heartstrings of the crowd. Her entire body exuded an intoxicating charm. Not only was Lu Yuan's martial path powerful, but her appearance was also incomparable to an ordinary woman's. Even Long Yu couldn't help but think that even Feng Yao's beauty was nothing in front of Lu Yuan. She was instantly outshone by her beauty. Apart from the 4 experts, Long Yu also noticed that there were quite a number of other people in the field. Wang Tianjue from the royal city's Wang family, along with his henchman Lu Mingqing, 2 guards of the rank 1 true spirit realm, and Feng Yao, were standing by the side. When the qi in the mine had completely dissipated, Feng Yao finally saw Long Yu. A hint of surprise flashed in her eyes, but she quickly returned to normal, as if she had not seen Long Yu at all. She now knew that Long Yu was no longer the good-for-nothing he used to be. He had turned into an extremely talented martial cultivator. However, she still did not have a good impression of Long Yu. If not for Long Yu, her father, Feng Changge, and mother, Lu Yu, would not have quarreled with each other like this. As for Wang Tianjue and Lu Mingqing, they both looked at Long Yu with cold smiles on their faces. Now that Long Yu was still at the rank 9 martial path, he, Wang Tianjue, and the 2 true spirit realm guards of the Wang family could definitely kill him easily to vent his hatred. Besides them, Yi Yan, Lu Shuqing, and Hua Yiluan were also standing at the side. When the 3 of them looked at Long Yu, they were a little surprised. Why was there only Long Yu, but not Ling Han, Lu Guanming, and Ling Yue. There were quite a number of corpses in the mine. It seemed that before the Yin Qi had dissipated, there had been quite a number of conflict. Duanmu Tsonglong and Yang Tian's corpses lay in the mine, but no one bothered to find out who had killed them. This was because there were a total of 10 corpses in the mine. No one paid any attention to the dead. Ling Han and the others are not here, so they should be hiding in some corner. That's good too. Long Yu quietly retreated when he saw the situation. There were too many people here, and too many people wanted to kill him. It was better for him not to join in the fun. The 4 experts quickly came to a conclusion. No one was willing to give in to the lunar fragment. The conclusion of the discussion was that when the lunar fragment appeared, they would fight for it with their own means. After the discussion, Hua Buxi immediately tried to find traces of Long Yu. However, when he looked around, he realized that Long Yu had long disappeared. He did not know which corner he was hiding in. Wang Tianzhua, didn't you say that you would help me deal with Lu Yuan? Feng Yao, who was slender and elegant, occasionally glanced at Lu Yuan at the side before questioning Wang Tianzhua. Wang Tianzhua had put it nicely, but now that Lu Yuan was right in front of him, he was terrified. Chapter 105. Feng Yao immediately knew what Wang Tianzhua was thinking when she saw that he couldn't move his eyes away. Although she did not want to have anything to do with Wang Tianzhua, she had a grudge against Lu Yuan. Wang Tianzhua was attracted to Lu Yuan's beauty, which infuriated Feng Yao. Wang Tianzhua, it turns out that your words are nothing more than a fart. Feng Yao sneered. Junior sister Feng Yao, please don't misunderstand. Wang Tianzhua turned around and laughed. The lunar fragment is the most important thing now. We can talk about the rest in the future. How about that? Of course, he knew that he, Wang Tianzhua, would never be able to marry someone like Lu Yuan. As a collateral disciple of the Wang family in the imperial city, it was already good enough that he could marry a beautiful girl like Feng Yao, who had the talent to condense a true spirit. One day, when Feng Yao condenses her true spirit and marries him, Wang Tianzhua, his status in the Wang family will rise by quite a bit. Even in the imperial city, those who condensed a true spirit were considered talented experts. They would also have a high status in a large family like the Wang family. Therefore, Wang Tianzhua could not let Feng Yao escape. Humph! Feng Yao snorted coldly and did not say anything else. However, she was thinking to herself, talk about it in the future? If she believed Wang Tianzhua, she would be the biggest idiot in the world. Cousin. At this moment, Lu Yuan looked at Feng Yao with a faint smile. Why are you still holding on to what happened when you were young? I've already apologized to you several times. That's right, junior sister Feng Yao. Since senior sister Lu Yuan has apologized to you, let's forget about what happened when we were young. Wang Tianzhua said happily. Who do you think you are? Why are you calling me junior sister? Why don't you take a look at yourself first? Exhilarating, another disciple of the Qingqing Pavilion who was standing beside Lu Yuan, sneered. She hated philandering young masters like Wang Tianzhua the most. When she heard Wang Tianzhua call Lu Yuan senior sister, she immediately mocked him. Wang Tianzhua's face darkened. He glanced at Exhilarating and said, Everyone has to pay for what they say. What price do you think you can give me? Exhilarating said with disdain. All right, Yuya, there's no need to bother with unrelated people. Rumble. Lu Yuan said softly and stopped Exhilarating from continuing. The lunar fragment was about to appear. Even Lu Yuan did not want to complicate matters. No matter what, she had to obtain the lunar fragment. However, in the next moment, a deafening wolf howl came from outside the mine. Then, a huge wolf condensed from Yin Qi descended from the sky. It jumped down from the mountain walls around the mine and landed in the center of the mine. It's the Blue Wolf Emperor! Everyone cried out in alarm. Among them, 2 experts at the 9th stage of the martial Tao were instantly crushed by the giant Azure Wolf Emperor. He didn't even have time to scream before he died on the spot. It has indeed appeared. The 3rd layer of the true spirit secret realm, the Ash Wolf Emperor. Lu Yuan's beautiful eyes lit up. She had long guessed that such an Ash Wolf Emperor would appear. It seemed that her guess was right. Every time the lunar fragment appeared, an Ash Wolf Emperor would appear. It possessed the terrifying strength of the 3rd layer of the true spirit secret realm to prevent others from stealing the lunar fragment. 5 years ago, when Mo Fengming of the Xiang clan was fighting for the lunar fragment, the Ash Wolf Emperor also appeared. At that time, many people died in the hands of the Ash Wolf Emperor. But this time, as soon as the King of Blue Wolves appeared, it directly crushed 2 martial cultivators. Huofu Lu Yuan, flowers don't wither. Seeing this, Bai Heng frowned slightly. Then, with a shout, he held the spirit-grade combat weapon in his hand and gracefully attacked the huge Ash Wolf Emperor in an instant. The Ash Wolf Emperor's strength had reached the 3rd layer of the true spirit secret realm. Apart from the 4 experts, no one else could withstand it. If the 4 of them did not work together, everyone would definitely be torn to shreds by the Ash Wolf Emperor. The discussion between the 4 experts just now had touched on this aspect. If a stronger enemy appeared, the 4 of them would have to work together to ensure that the lunar fragment would not fall into the hands of unrelated people. For example, if an expert from an enemy country appeared, or if the Ash Wolf Emperor appeared 5 years ago. Now that the Ash Wolf Emperor had appeared, the 4 of them were shocked. Then, with Bai Hong's Heaven's Might sword technique as the lead, they attacked the Ash Wolf Emperor from 4 directions. Before the 4 of them could react, another 2 people died under the terrifying strength of the Ash Wolf Emperor. They were smashed into meat patties by its claws. Their deaths were miserable. It was only when Bai Heng took the lead and executed the Heaven's Might sword art with his spirit-grade combat weapon longsword that he was finally able to barely block the Blue Wolf Emperor. However, it was impossible for him to be the Blue Wolf Emperor's opponent by himself. Luckily, Lu Yuan wielded the scarlet dagger with both hands. With a white flash, she appeared beside the Ash Wolf Emperor in the blink of an eye. Flowing light sword shadow. Lu Yuan shouted. Her slender figure under the black clothes seemed to be wrapped by the flowing light of the white sword shadow. Her whole body turned into a flowing light sword shadow and instantly bombarded the side of the Blue Wolf Emperor. This flowing light sword shadow was not only extremely fast, but its power was also terrifying to the extreme. Long Yu hid in a dark corner and observed the situation. If he were to face Lu Yuan's attack, he would have no other way but to suppress her with the heaven-suppressing field. He wouldn't even have the time to execute the Dark Dragon Leap. Unfortunately, the Ash Wolf Emperor's strength had reached LV3 of the True Spirit Secret Realm. The True Spirit Wolf Claw condensed from Yin Qi appeared behind it and easily blocked Lu Yuan's attack. Raging Flame Explosion. Huofu's body was covered in flames. Wave after wave of flames bombarded the other side of the Ash Wolf Emperor, causing the Yin Qi on that side to explode. However, right after that, the phantom of the True Spirit Wolf Claw swept over. In an instant, a gust of air surged out and sent Huofu flying. The Blue Wolf Emperor hated the power of fire to the extreme. Its first target was surprisingly Huofu. When the Ash Wolf Emperor was about to chase after Huofu, Hua Buxi's attack had already arrived. As a core disciple of the Ice Sect, Hua Buxi was best at playing with ice and snow. Plucking flowers and flying leaves was just a small trick he used to toy with Long Yu. Ice power! Hua Buxi shouted in demonic qi. Suddenly, a wave of ice and snow drifted in the air, covering the Ash Wolf Emperor's body in a layer of ice and snow. It was as if the Ash Wolf Emperor was going to be completely frozen. Hua Buxi cultivated the Ice Sect's Ice Heart Sutra and had already comprehended the power of heaven and earth. At this moment, the release of the power of heaven and earth produced a miraculous effect. The Ash Wolf Emperor's body froze. Not only did it not have time to chase after Huofu, but it was also heavily injured by Baihang and Lu Yuan's heavy attacks. Heaven's suppression power. Baihang waved the sword in his hand, and the power of heaven's suppression was also formed. Under the suppression of the two powers, the Ash Wolf Emperor seemed to be suddenly weakened. However, before the four of them could breathe a sigh of relief, a terrifying Yin Qi suddenly exploded from the Ash Wolf Emperor's body, shattering the power of heaven's suppression and the power of ice. Be careful, this beast is very strong. Baihang's expression changed. He did not expect that even the suppression of the two powers could not affect the Ash Wolf Emperor at all. Lu Yuan's expression also became serious. She knew that if they did not finish off the Ash Wolf Emperor, they would never be able to obtain the lunar fragment. As the four of them fell into a fierce battle with the Ash Wolf Emperor, Long Yu, who was secretly observing the scene, became even more nervous. So the Yin Qi in the entire mine has dissipated and condensed into the Ash Wolf Emperor. Its strength has reached the third level of the true spirit realm. Long Yu quickly thought, looking at the strength of the Ash Wolf Emperor, the power contained in the Yin Qi pill in its body will definitely not disappoint me. If I take the Yin Qi pill and absorb the power within, it is very likely that I will be able to condense the true spirit. Not only that, the four experts had joined forces to deal with the Ash Wolf Emperor. If the lunar fragment happened to appear at this time, the possibility of Long Yu snatching it would be much higher. Thinking of this, Long Yu carefully observed the scene. There were originally a total of 21 people in the scene. Under the Ash Wolf Emperor's claws, 4 of them died, leaving only 17 people. Other than the 4 experts, there were a total of 13 people. Long Yu analyzed them one by one. Of the remaining 13 people, Wang Tianjue and the others accounted for 5. In addition, Yi Yan, Lu Shuqing, and Hua Yiluan were also 3 people who belonged to Baihang's group. There were also 5 people, one of which was Lu Yuan's junior sister, Xian Yueao of the Qinqing Pavilion. The other 4 were the 4 disciples of the Breaking Blade sect. 2 of them were core disciples at the first level of the true spirit realm, and 2 were experts at the 9th level of the martial Dao. Wang Tianjue's side is the strongest. I have to weaken them first. Long Yu's heart stirred as he quietly took action. He deliberately revealed his face at the hiding place. This time, Wang Tianjue, who had been searching for Long Yu's whereabouts, discovered him at a glance. That kid is there. He must be trying to take advantage of the chaos to attack. Brother Luo, let's go kill that kid first. Wang Tianjue called out and immediately brought the 2 true spirit guards of the Wang family, LV Taogua and Luo Liangfu with him. They rushed towards Long Yu's location. That kid is dead for sure. Lu Mingqing did not follow. Instead, he stood on the spot and sneered. With his martial Dao realm, he could only watch from the side. He was not even qualified to face Long Yu. As for Feng Yao, she saw that Wang Tianjue had brought people to kill Long Yu, but she did not say anything. Right now, she did not have much killing intent towards Long Yu. However, if she wanted to save Long Yu's life, she would not be able to do it. If not for Long Yu's existence, her father, Feng Changge, would not have placed all his attention on Long Yu, causing his relationship with her mother, Lu Yu, to worsen. This caused Feng Yao to not have a good impression of Long Yu. As for Long Yu, he did not care about Feng Yao at all. He only revealed his face when he saw Wang Tianjue and the 2 guards rushing toward him. Their eyes were filled with murderous intent. 3 people at the first level of the true spirit realm really think highly of me. However, do you think you can kill me, Long Yu, with just this? A cold light flashed in Long Yu's eyes. Chapter 106. Seeing Wang Tianjue and the 2 guards of the true spirit realm running towards Long Yu, many people were shocked. Among them, Hua Buxi, who was fighting the Blue Wolf Emperor, had a fierce look on his face. Although I can't kill you with my own hands, It's still a pleasure to watch you die in front of me. Hua Buxi looked at Long Yu cruelly, as if he could already see the scene of Long Yu being killed by Wang Tianjua. I originally wanted to avenge Xia Ho, but it seems that it's not my turn to do it. Huofu cast a sideways glance at Long Yu as he released his flames, a hint of pity in his eyes. It's such a pity that I can't kill this kid with my own hands. Hua Buxi and Huofu felt the same way. In their opinion, how could 3 first-layer true spirit realm experts not be able to kill a 9th-layer martial path kid? Although Hua Buxi knew that Long Yu had comprehended the heaven-suppressing territory and killed Duanmu Tsonglong of the True Spirit Secret Realm, facing 3 True Spirit Secret Realm experts at the same time was definitely more difficult than killing Duanmu Tsonglong. Lu Yuan and Bai Hang were also engaged in a fierce battle with the Blue Wolf Emperor. Naturally, the two of them also noticed this scene. Lu Yuan did not care about it and did not react. She continued to deal with the Blue Wolf Emperor. On the other hand, Bai Heng's expression changed when he saw the situation. Stop! Bai Heng could not care less about the Blue Wolf Emperor and ran towards Long Yu, as if he was trying to save him. Our target is the Blue Wolf Emperor. Bai Heng, where are you going? Hua Buxi and Huofu snorted coldly at the same time. While dealing with the Blue Wolf Emperor, they also completely restrained Bai Heng. Under the bombardment of the flower-plucking flying leaves and raging flames, Bai Heng had no chance of escaping to help Long Yu. Long Yu was naturally aware of the situation. He was a little touched when he saw that Bai Heng wanted to save him. However, he might just be putting on an act. We must not be careless. Until now, Long Yu did not know how Bai Heng viewed him in his heart. This person was too unfathomable. However, even without Bai Heng, it shouldn't be a problem for Long Yu to deal with Wang Tianjua and the other two by himself. The 2 guards at the first level of the True Spirit Secret Realm, LV Taogua and Luo Liangfu, ran in front of Wang Tianjua and chased after Long Yu. Long Yu pretended to panic and turned to run. However, with his speed as a 9th-stage martial Dao cultivator, how could he escape? Lu Taogua and Luo Liangfu, the 2 guards of the True Spirit Secret Realm, revealed cruel expressions. A mere 9th-stage martial Dao trash dares to offend our young Master Wang? He's courting death. Audacity! You don't know the immensity of heaven and earth. This will be the last mistake you will ever make in your life. Both of them gave a loud shout and condensed their Tiger King true spirits behind their back. The Tiger King Phantom roared, causing their speed to soar. In an instant, they were less than 100 feet away from Long Yu. This is my chance. Long Yu's heart trembled. He deliberately pretended to run away to achieve this effect. Ghost Flash. In the next moment, Long Yu turned into Ghost Chi and disappeared in front of the 2 guards. Then, a wave of 9 nether chi enveloped the entire area. Heaven's suppressing domain. A terrifying pressure descended from the sky, causing Lu Taogua and Luo Liangfu's expressions to change. They only felt that their movements were completely suppressed. The tyrannical heaven-suppressing domain made them unable to move, use any Xian Qi or use any martial skills. It's a domain. Be careful! The square-faced Lu Taogua immediately shouted. However, in the next moment, Long Yu's figure appeared beside them, and he punched the ground. 9 nether explosion. A cold light flickered in Long Yu's eyes. Since you want to kill me, I'll first create the illusion that I'm running away, then I'll turn around and kill you when you're unprepared. In an instant, a torrent of netherworld chi condensed into an explosive flow and gushed out from beneath Luo Liangfu's feet. It instantly enveloped his entire body, and the netherworld chi rapidly corroded his entire body. Ah! A miserable shrill cry sounded out from within the pillar of 9th hell chi, and it caused everyone who heard it to shudder with fear. Luo Liangfu, a first-rank True Spirit Realm True Spirit Guard, was dead. The square-faced LV Taogwa broke out in a cold sweat. He glanced sideways and saw that the netherworld chi beside him had dissipated, and what appeared in front of him was Luo Liangfu's corroded corpse. The strange and ghastly aura of the netherworld caused his entire body to tremble. Luo Liangfu was an expert at the first stage of the true spirit realm, yet he was killed by a kid at the 9th stage of the martial path. Who could tell him if this was true or not? However, LV Taogua immediately realized that he was still under the pressure of the heaven-suppressing domain. Once the domain was unleashed, who could contend against it? LV Taogua's square face was flushed red as he activated the Xian Qi in his body with all his might. Heaven-suppressing domain, 9 Hell activation, Spear Shadows. Long Yu held the 9 Hell Dragon Spear in his hand and swept it towards LV Taogua. The spear shadows were like shadows that wanted to take away LV Taogua's life. However, LV Taogua had finally adapted to the pressure of the heaven-suppressing domain and was barely able to move. Tiger King True Spirit, go! The phantom image of the Tiger King appeared behind him and roared at Long Yu. Then, it charged towards the spear images. The Tiger King's claws were extremely sharp. With a few swipes, Long Yu's spear shadows were destroyed. This is the strength of the first rank of the true spirit realm. Long Yu let out a light laugh, but he didn't care about his spear shadows being broken. His silhouette had already flashed, and he actually dashed towards Wang Tianjua, who was behind him. He had taken the initiative to attack in order to kill Wang Tianjua. This Wang Tianjua had once used his true spirit to crush Long Yu in Jade Pass City just to show his strength in front of Feng Chang'e. Now, he had brought 2 true spirit guards to deal with him. If I let you go, wouldn't there be more trouble in the future? Long Yu thought in his heart as his eyes flashed with a cold light. He rushed towards Wang Tianjua. True spirit, appear. Seeing this, Wang Tianjua's expression changed. He immediately activated his true spirit and the phantom of the Tiger King True Spirit appeared behind him. He had never thought that the 2 guards he had brought with him at the first rank of the true spirit realm would be caught off guard, and one of them was killed by Long Yu. In other words, he, Wang Tianjua, was no longer Long Yu's match. Capture the thief, capture the king. The one I want to capture is you, Wang Tianjua. Long Yu laughed out loud. Just as he was about to stab Wang Tianjua with his spear, he suddenly swept out with the 9 Hell Dragon Spear in his hand, creating a gust of air that swept him up and sent him flying hundreds of feet. 9 Hell Dragon Fist, drunk in the Yellow Springs, kill. Long Yu fell from the sky like a meteor. The 9 Hell Qi instantly pierced through the sky and formed a hundreds of feet long Yellow Springs road that seemed to connect to the sky. The Yellow Springs road formed by the 9 Hell Qi enveloped Wang Tianjua, causing him to be momentarily dazed. Even the Tiger King True Spirit that he had just summoned behind him became dispirited. Wang Tianjua knew how powerful Long Yu was and had been prepared for this move. However, he had never expected that Long Yu would leap into the sky and throw a punch from above. He had been on guard and had never expected that Long Yu would know a martial skill like the soaring nether dragon. Kill! With a punch, Long Yu's figure fell from the sky and landed on the phantom of the Tiger King True Spirit. With the formation of the heaven-suppressing domain, the phantom of the Tiger King True Spirit was instantly destroyed. This time, it was a true defeat. Even if Wang Tianjua woke up, he would not be able to condense the Tiger King True Spirit again. He would need to rest for a long time before he could recover. The 9 Hell Qi instantly exploded. Not only did it completely destroy the Tiger King True Spirit, it also enveloped Wang Tianjua. Demon subduing Vajra Seal. Long Yu's hand flashed with a faint golden light. With a slap, he sent Wang Tianjua flying and heavily fell to the ground. Wang Tianjua was not completely killed. After all, the main target of Long Yu's punch was his true spirit. However, at this time, Wang Tianjua was sent flying by the demon-subduing Vajra Seal. His body was also being corroded by the endless 9 Hell Qi. His face was covered in black smoke. It was obvious that the 9 Hell Qi was wreaking havoc in his body. This time, even if Wang Tianjue did not die, he would be crippled. In an instant, Long Yu had crushed and killed a true spirit guard, Luo Liangfu, and severely injured Wang Tianjue. Of the 3 true spirit realm experts, 2 were gone in an instant. The only one left was LV Taogua, who had finally broken free from the pressure of the heaven-suppressing domain. That was because Long Yu was no longer by his side, so he naturally could not be affected. LV Taogua turned around and his face instantly turned ugly. He saw that Wang Tianjue's face had turned black. All the meridians in his body seemed to be corroded. Not only that, even the Tiger King True Spirit had been completely destroyed. What kind of monster was this Long Yu? Was he really only at the 9th level of the martial path? How could a 9th-level martial path cultivator defeat a 1st-level true spirit realm cultivator so easily? Not only LV Taogua, but everyone else present was shocked by Long Yu's actions. Initially, when they saw Long Yu escape, they thought that he was a fool. Since everyone present had enemies, why would he show himself? Now they understood that Long Yu was not escaping, but creating an opportunity to deal with the 3 of them. Haha, junior brother Long is amazing. Bai Heng laughed heartily. He finally had no more worries in his heart. He had seen Long Yu kill Xiahou Tianjie, so he knew that Long Yu could fight against an opponent in the true spirit realm. However, he did not know that Long Yu could fight against 3 of them at the same time, killing one and injuring the other in an instant. 3 idiots, they still can't kill Long Yu. It looks like I have to do it myself. Hua Yun or Hua Qing as your big brother, I will avenge you. Hua Buxi and Hua Fu thought at the same time. Hua Buxi could not wait any longer. A murderous glint flashed across his face as he prepared to fight Long Yu. However, at this moment, Bai Hong's heaven's might sword skill descended upon Hua Buxi. Your opponent is the Emperor of the Blue Wolves. Bai Heng fought back with his own strength, restraining Hua Buxi so that he could not fight against Long Yu. Die. However, when Hua Fu saw this, he turned into flames and charged at Long Yu. Watch out. Bai Heng was shocked when he saw this. He could only stop Hua Buxi and deal with the Emperor of the Blue Wolves at the same time. That was his limit. Now that Hua Fu had made his move, there was nothing he could do. Hua Fu, have you forgotten about the agreement between the 4 of us? Chapter 107. Long Yu kept an eye on Hua Buxi and Hua Fu's movements. To him, the biggest threat was not Wang Tianjue and his 2 true spirit-level guards, but Hua Buxi and Hua Fu, who were fighting the Grey Wolf Emperor. If either one of them attacked, it was possible for him to be killed. Earlier, Long Yu had been planning to execute the underworld dragon soaring leap the moment the 2 of them made a move. Then, he would immediately flee. However, it seemed like Bai Heng and Lu Yuan had done him a great favor by stopping both Hua Buxi and Hua Fu. Long Yu glanced at Lu Yuan. He did not understand why this beautiful girl would suddenly help him and stop Hua Fu. If that's the case, I owe you one. Long Yu thought to himself as he turned to look at the remaining true spirit-level guard, LV Taogua. Wang Tianjue had brought 2 true spirit-level guards with him, but Luo Liangfu had already been killed by Long Yu. LV Taogua had lost his will to fight after seeing Luo Liangfu killed and Wang Tianjue injured. You killed a guard of my Wang family. You're dead. LV Taogua said with bloodshot eyes. It doesn't matter if I die or not. You'll die before me. Long Yu sneered. He did not care about his opponent's threat and walked toward LV Taogua. LV Taogua was intimidated by Long Yu's aura. He turned around and tried to escape. Domain. Long Yu released the domain of the heaven-suppressing domain as he advanced. The domain of the heaven-suppressing domain instantly covered LV Taogua, preventing him from using his movement skill. He could barely move, but his speed was extremely slow. It was impossible for him to escape from Long Yu. Kill, reverse scale touch. Long Yu yelled and bit his finger, causing blood to spray onto the 9 nether dragon spear. Following this, the spiritual communication martial technique, reverse scale touch, was executed as Long Yu threw the 9 Netherworld Dragon Spear at LV Taogwa. The energy of the Netherworld condensed at the tip of the spear, and it brought along a wave of air flow as it swiftly pierced towards LV Taogwa's face in the blink of an eye. Tiger King's true spirit, defend. LV Taogwa revealed a sinister expression as the Tiger King true spirit behind him roared and charged towards the 9 Nether Dragon Spear. The reverse tentacle scale and the Tiger King's true spirit collided with a loud bang. A burst of turbulence erupted, and dust and smoke floated in the air. He blocked it. LV Taogwa was overjoyed. He could feel that his Tiger King true spirit was still alive. It wasn't destroyed by Long Yu like Wang Tianjua. However, he did not know that Long Yu's shot was simply used to confuse him. Immediately after, a wave of netherworld chi instantly came out from behind LV Taogwa, and it imitated the path of the yellow springs and enveloped him within it. Instantly, he became absent-minded. 9 Nether Dragon Fist die. Long Yu flashed behind LV Taogwa and avoided the Tiger King true spirit's illusory image. He heavily punched LV Taogwa's back. The strength of over 1,000 horses penetrated into his body, his limbs and his bones, sending him flying. He fell heavily to the ground, unable to get up again. The netherworld chi had already corroded and destroyed all the meridians in his body. Death had descended. This scene fell into the eyes of the surrounding people, leaving only shock in their minds. The expressions of the 4 experts who were fighting with the Azure Wolf Emperor immediately changed as they looked at Long Yu. Even if it was Baihang, Huofu and company, if they were to deal with Wang Tianjua and company alone, they wouldn't have it any easier than Long Yu. In that case, could it be that Long Yu had the strength to contend against them? However, it was clear that Long Yu was only at the 9th level of the martial Dao realm. But soon, many people realized that Long Yu's strength was actually not as strong as they had imagined. Just now, Long Yu had killed Wang Tianjua and company using all his means to defeat them one by one. If Wang Tianjua and company had attacked together, they believed that Long Yu would not have had a high chance of winning. However, the combat talent that Long Yu had displayed on the spot made everyone remember him. This black-clothed youth was called Long Yu. In a nearby corner, Ling Han, Ling Yue, and Lu Guanming were completely stunned to see Long Yu kill 2 people at the 1st level of the True Spirit Secret Realm. If the fact that Long Yu had killed Xiahou Tianjia by himself made them feel that it was normal, then the fact that he had instantly killed Luo Liangfu and heavily injured Wang Tianjua had completely exceeded their expectations. Originally, I wanted to rush out and sneak attack those 3, but it seems that Brother Long doesn't need our help at all. Ling Han had a bitter smile on his face. He remembered that when he first met Long Yu was only at the 6th level of the martial path, the same cultivation as his sister Ling Yue. But in such a short period of time, Long Yu had grown to such an extent that he could easily kill 3 experts at the 1st level of the True Spirit Secret Realm. With Brother Long's strength, there is still hope for him to obtain the lunar fragment. Lu Guanming's eyes were filled with joy. But the premise is that we don't disturb him and drag him down. Ling Yue said calmly. Among the 3, she was the one who had the clearest view of the situation. Although she was the youngest, she was the most meticulous. Ling Han and Lu Guanming nodded at the same time. With their current cultivation of the 8th and 6th level of the martial path, if they appeared on the battlefield, they would definitely distract Long Yu. In the battlefield, the 4 experts were still fighting against the Emperor of the Blue Wolf. Even though it was 1 against 4, the Emperor of the Blue Wolf did not seem to be at a disadvantage. Of course, part of the reason was because of Long Yu. The 4 experts were restraining each other, so they could not focus on the Emperor of the Blue Wolf. I'll kill this beast first. As for Long Yu, I'll have the chance to tear him to pieces sooner or later. Hua Buxi thought to himself as a fierce light flashed across his face. Then, he focused all his attention on the Emperor of the Blue Wolf. As long as he killed the Emperor of the Blue Wolf, Lu Yuan would have no reason to stop Huofu. Hua Buxi and Huofu, one to stop Baihang, the other to deal with Long Yu. It would be a piece of cake. Next time, I won't let you have the chance to escape. Hua Buxi thought back to the time when Long Yu used the Nether Dragon Leap to escape. He felt a little unhappy. If he had known that this would happen, he would not have played this game of cat and mouse. However, it was useless for him to regret. Now, he had to kill the Emperor of the Blue Wolf first. Ice flew in the air as Hua Buxi used a spirit-level martial skill on the Emperor of the Blue Wolf, freezing the Emperor of the Blue Wolf for a moment. Good chance. Seeing this, Baihang gathered his Heaven's Might sword art and slashed out. Instantly, a wound appeared on the Emperor of the Blue Wolf's back, from which thick yin qi seeped out. There was no blood in the Emperor of the Blue Wolf's body, only yin qi. This was because its entire body was formed from yin qi. Flowing light sword shadow. The scarlet short sword drew streaks of white light as it danced in Lu Yuan's snow-white hands. Her alluring figure, dressed in black, flashed around the Emperor of the Blue Wolf. Among the 4 experts, Lu Yuan was the fastest. The cultivation method of the Glamorous Shadow Pavilion, Glamorous Shadow, contained the natural laws of speed and charm. Against the Emperor of the Blue Wolf, the charm law was obviously useless. However, its increased speed was the key to a battle. Long Yu rested at the side and observed the battle of the 4 experts at the same time. Although everyone is hiding something, their fighting styles are also very obvious. Long Yu thought as he observed. Lu Yuan was the fastest, and her flowing light sword shadow was probably a spirit-level middle-grade martial skill. It was more destructive than the martial skills that the others were using. As for Huofu, he had condensed his fire true soul. His entire body exuded a violent aura. With a wave of his hand, he could blow up a large area. It was the most suitable fighting style for one against many. Baihang's Heaven's Might sword art was fast and powerful, but it was still slightly weaker than Lu Yuan's. Of course, the Heaven's Might sword art was not the strongest martial skill that Baihang had cultivated. As for Hua Buxi, his entire body exuded an icy aura. He controlled the natural power of ice. With a wave of his hand, his opponent's Xian Qi would be hindered and slowed down, creating an advantage for himself. Because the 4 experts came from different sects, their fighting styles were also different. Long Yu secretly speculated, if he were to fight against one of them, what method should he use to resist? When Hua Buxi and Huofu stopped worrying about Long Yu and focused on dealing with the Emperor of the Blue Wolf, the Emperor of the Blue Wolf was finally at a disadvantage under the attacks of the 4 experts. The battlefield was filled with yin qi, all of which was seeping out from the wounds on the Emperor of the Blue Wolf's body. Just as the Emperor of the Blue Wolf could not hold on any longer and was about to be destroyed into a cloud of yin qi, a wave of extremely thick yin qi suddenly erupted from the center of the mine. Suddenly, the entire mine pit shook violently. The ground beneath the Blue Wolf Emperor's feet actually began to crack. This scene caused everyone present to be on high alert. Even the 4 great experts were a little bewildered, and each of them began to back away. The Emperor of the Blue Wolf roared, and yin qi filled the air. An extremely thick wave of yin qi continuously spewed out from the cracked ground beneath its feet. Soon, a small gray stone flew out from the crack in the ground. Lunar fragment. Almost everyone immediately reacted. At that moment, everyone's faces were filled with anxiety. The lunar fragment had finally appeared, but it appeared under the feet of the Emperor of the Blue Wolf. And from the looks of it, it seemed to be merging with the Emperor of the Blue Wolf. If the lunar fragment merged with the Emperor of the Blue Wolf, how terrifying would the Emperor of the Blue Wolf become? Putting that aside, the most important thing was that the lunar fragment was everyone's main goal in coming here. If it merged with the Emperor of the Blue Wolf, then wouldn't everyone's trip be in vain? Just as everyone was about to swarm forward, a black figure was faster than all of them. In a flash, he appeared under the belly of the Emperor of the Blue Wolf. "It's Long Yu." Baiheng was shocked. This Long Yu was so bold to dare to snatch the treasure from the wolf's mouth. When the lunar fragment appeared, everyone was afraid of facing danger and retreated. Only Long Yu risked his life and flashed towards the crack in the ground. Because of this, at that moment, only Long Yu was the closest to the lunar fragment. In fact, he could even hold the lunar fragment in his hand with a stretch of his hand. However, how dare this Long Yu? If it were Lu Yuan, Hua Fu or Hua Buxi, Baiheng would not be so surprised. However, Long Yu was only at the 9th level of the martial path. Chapter 108. When the mind shook, Long Yu became nervous. Seeing that the others had distanced themselves from the Ash Wolf Emperor, he gritted his teeth and charged towards the Ash Wolf Emperor. As expected, a small gray stone that emitted a strong yin qi appeared under the Ash Wolf Emperor's feet. Long Yu thought to himself that he had made the right bet. He turned into ghost qi and appeared under the Ash Wolf Emperor's feet in a flash. He reached out and grabbed the small gray stone in his hand. Endless yin qi seeped into his body through the small stone and circulated throughout his body. If a normal person was invaded by so much yin qi, their blood would be frozen and they would feel like they had fallen into an ice cave, unable to move at all. However, Long Yu activated the 9 underworld dragon seal and expelled all the yin qi from his body. Got it! Long Yu's heart trembled. Seeing that everyone was rushing over at their fastest speed, he did not have the time to sense what exactly the lunar fragment was. He could only run as fast as he could. The 4 experts, as well as many first-layer true spirit realm experts, such as Lu Yuan's junior sister Xian Yuea, and 2 Broken Blade sect core disciples, all rushed towards him. Long Yu could not block them at all. Wind Flash Step. Dark Dragon Leap. Long Yu instantly used a martial skill and moved to the Ash Wolf Emperor's side. He then shook the 9 underworld dragon spear and lifted him out of the deep pit. The Dark Dragon Leap, 100 zhang in one leap. Long Yu leaped into the distance like a meteor. At the same time, he finally saw Ling Han's group of 3 hiding in a valley not far away. Dark Dragon Leap. Catch! Long Yu landed on the ground as fast as he could and once again used the Dark Dragon Leap, jumping 100 zhang away. At the same time, he took the opportunity to throw the extreme yin fragment in Ling Han's direction. The yin qi emitted by the extreme yin fragment had been suppressed by the 9 underworld dragon seal, so no one would notice it. He used the Dark Dragon Leap twice in a row, instantly leaving everyone's line of sight. He quietly tossed the moon fragment to Ling Han. With Ling Han's familiarity with this region and the yin qi, it should not be a problem for him to leave with the lunar fragment. As for Long Yu himself, he still had to take another risk and try to kill the Ash Wolf Emperor, thereby seizing the yin qi pill in its body. If I can obtain the Azure Wolf Emperor's yin energy pill, the power contained within might be able to help me condense my true spirit. As Long Yu thought to himself, he once again executed the Dark Dragon Leaping. He leaped 300 meters and turned in another direction, gradually distancing himself from Ling Han. "Brother, let's go." When Ling Yu saw that Ling Han had obtained the lunar fragment, she quickly said, "Now that senior brother Long Yu is being pursued, the only thing we can do now is to leave with the lunar fragment and wait for him to come out. I see that brother Long's speed is so fast that no one should be able to catch up to him. However, it's also hard to say," Lu Guanming said worriedly. "If he is caught, even if we are present, we will not be able to do anything. Instead, we will be a burden to him. Let's go, let's leave first." As Ling Han spoke, he hid the lunar fragment in his clothes. "When we are out of danger, let's hand the lunar fragment over to Brother Long." There was nothing to be said about Ling Han's loyalty to his brothers. This lunar fragment was something that Long Yu had risked his life to obtain. Naturally, he would not keep it for himself. Right now, he was completely replacing Long Yu to safely leave with the lunar fragment. The three of them followed Ling Han, traversing through the small hills and heading out of the mine. At this moment, Bai Hang executed the world's end near, turning the short distance into the long distance. Very quickly, he arrived at the place where Long Yu had been. He was here, but where did he go? Bai Hang thought hard. He stood on the tallest hill and looked around, but he could not find Long Yu's figure at all. After thinking for a moment, he walked into the distance. He would never have thought that Long Yu would actually return to where the Emperor of the Blue Wolves was. In the other three directions, Hua Fu, Lu Yuan, and Hua Buxi were also unable to catch up with Long Yu. Bai Heng's world's end near was already the fastest, but it was still not as fast as Long Yu's continuous dark dragon leap. In terms of chasing and escaping, Long Yu's advantage was too great. The four experts of the second LV2 True Spirit Realm had their lunar fragment snatched away by a LV9 Martial Path Kid. If word of this got out, it would undoubtedly be a great humiliation. Hua Fu, Hua Buxi, and the new and old hatred for Long Yu were all on the verge of exploding. They searched for Long Yu in the mine, but they were searching in the wrong direction. They also did not expect that Long Yu would return to where the Emperor of the Blue Wolves was. Only Lu Yuan furrowed her brows. If I were Long Yu, where would I escape to after snatching away the lunar fragment? Lu Yuan stood at the top of a small hill and imagined that she was Long Yu. What people in the LV9 Martial Path desire the most is definitely not the lunar fragment, but to condense their true spirit. To condense their true spirit, they need the Emperor of the Blue Wolves' Yin-Chi pill. Lu Yuan's black hair fluttered in the wind, and her beautiful eyes, as bright as the stars, looked towards where the Emperor of the Blue Wolves was filled with Yin-Chi. Then, her curvaceous figure became agile again. In a flash, she had already leaped over several hills and was rushing towards where the Emperor of the Blue Wolves was. At that moment, Long Yu did not know that Lu Yuan had already seen through his thoughts. He quietly returned to the Emperor of the Blue Wolves and found that the Emperor of the Blue Wolves had become extremely irritable after losing the lunar fragment. It was actually venting its anger on the people in the mine who could not leave in time. Yan, Lu Shuqing, and Hua Iluan had already used their movement skills and fled the world's end near at hand. The four experts from the Broken Saber sect were intimidated by the Blue Wolf Emperor's aura. Even though they had comprehended the Broken Saber's charm, the Broken Saber's aura, and their speed was extremely fast, they were unable to escape. They could only fight the Blue Wolf Emperor with their lives. Fortunately, the Emperor of the Blue Wolves had been seriously injured by the four experts and only had about half of its strength left. The mine was filled with Yin-Chi, which came from the Emperor of the Blue Wolves' body, indicating that it was seriously injured. However, the Emperor of the Blue Wolves was a powerful existence at the third level of the True Spirit Realm. The two experts at the first level of the True Spirit Realm and the ninth level of the Martial Path from the Broken Blade sect could not kill the Emperor of the Blue Wolves, no matter how heaven-defying they were. The Emperor of the Blue Wolves unleashed its true spirit wolf claw and instantly killed the four people from the Broken Blade sect, turning the mine into a river of blood. The counterattack of the four people from the Broken Blade sect also deepened the Emperor of the Blue Wolves' injuries. The heavily injured Emperor of the Blue Wolves howled, wanting to retrieve the celestial Yin fragment to complete its transformation. Unfortunately, it did not have the chance to do so. Heaven's suppressing domain, 9 nether explosion, kill. Long Yu turned around and punched the ground. Instantly, a terrifying pillar of 9 nether chi shot out from the Emperor of the Blue Wolves' feet and instantly penetrated its huge body. Roar! The Emperor of the Blue Wolves turned around and was instantly enraged when it saw that it was the guy who had stolen its celestial Yin fragment. However, the Emperor of the Blue Wolves was hit by the 9 nether explosion and its body was corroded by the 9 nether chi. At this moment, it was unable to kill Long Yu. The 9 nether chi is extremely effective against the yin chi in this mine. Even if the Emperor of the Blue Wolves was condensed from yin chi and reached the 3rd level of the true spirit realm, after being attacked by the 9 nether chi, it should not have much combat power left, right? Long Yu held the 9 nether dragon spear in his hand and his eyes flashed. Looking at the Emperor of the Blue Wolves' huge body running toward him, Long Yu's heart was as calm as an ancient well. He could clearly see that more than half of the Emperor of the Blue Wolves' body that was condensed from gray yin chi was glowing with a strange and dense 9 nether color. The Emperor of the Blue Wolves' life was at stake. Of course, this fierce beast was condensed from yin chi and did not have a life. It was just that it had gained intelligence. However, it was no different from a normal demonic beast. It would also be angry, kill, and have the desire to fight for the celestial yin fragment. Could such an existence be considered a life form? As Long Yu thought about this boring question, he swept the 9 nether dragon spear in his hand and moved his feet. Layers of spear shadows. The layers of spear shadows, carrying the 9 nether chi and the heaven-suppressing domain, instantly defeated the heavily injured Emperor of the Blue Wolves. There were countless wounds and holes all over its body, and yin chi kept dispersing out, just like a demonic beast bleeding. Whether you are considered a life or not, your yin chi pill is mine. Long Yu's eyes were cold. Among the layers of spear shadows, the Emperor of the Blue Wolves fell to the ground, exhausted. Its whole body was corroded by the 9 nether chi, and it soon turned into yin chi and began to dissipate. The appearance of the Emperor of the Blue Wolves was soon no longer formed, and it turned into a cloud of yin chi and dissipated. Only a yin chi pill condensed from yin chi was left where the Emperor of the Blue Wolves fell. Yin chi pill. Long Yu took 2 steps forward and picked up the yin chi pill. With a glance, he could feel the dense yin chi gathered in it. This yin chi was the essence that could be absorbed by a martial cultivator. The effect of this yin chi pill on a martial cultivator's realm was almost the same as the inner core of a demonic beast at the 3rd level of the true spirit secret realm. Are you sure you want to swallow this yin chi pill? A clear and melodious female voice came from the side. Long Yu turned his head to look and saw a graceful figure dressed in black with a faint smile on her beautiful face. It was the core disciple of Qingqing Pavilion, Lu Yuan. If a person who has yet to condense his true spirit were to swallow a spirit pill or a demonic beast's inner core, it would be very difficult for them to withstand the power within. As a result, their meridians would explode and they would become useless. Lu Yuan's black hair fell to her waist as she looked at Long Yu with interest. Your combat talent is very strong. If you were to be crippled just like that, I would feel that it would be a pity. Long Yu glanced at her indifferently and without even thinking, he swallowed the yin energy pill in his hand in one go. This action caused Lu Yuan to be stunned. This Long Yu is really daring. However, she could also tell that Long Yu really didn't think much of her. After hearing her reminder, he didn't even hesitate and directly swallowed the yin chi pill. However, whether you swallow the yin chi pill or not, it has nothing to do with me. Chapter 109. Of course, Long Yu knew that Lu Yuan had returned to snatch the lunar fragment from him. If you're so capable, come and try. The corners of Long Yu's mouth curled up slightly, as if he did not care about Lu Yuan's threat at all. I know that you're quite bold. Lu Yuan's beautiful eyes were cold. But aren't you a little too confident? So much nonsense. You don't dare to attack me? Long Yu laughed. Taking advantage of this opportunity, he felt the yin energy pill he had swallowed emitting thick yin energy in his body. This yin energy was similar to the demonic chi of a demonic beast's inner core and the spiritual energy of heaven and earth contained in elixirs. It could be absorbed by him and turned into celestial chi in his body. Under the effect of the dragon seal of the 9 underworlds, the speed at which he absorbed the yin energy pill was far faster than ordinary people. He quickly absorbed all of it and stored it in the dragon seal of the 9 underworld. In the time it took to exchange a few words with Lu Yuan, he had completely digested the Yin energy pill. Of course, most of the Yin energy was still stored in the dragon seal of the 9 underworlds and not absorbed by him. This way, his combat ability would not be affected at all. Swoosh! Lu Yuan finally could not hold it in any longer. Her graceful figure leaped down and swept towards Long Yu. The 2 red swords brought with them a flash of white light. Wait, I'll hand over the lunar fragment. When Long Yu saw this, he suddenly shouted and stretched his hand into his bosom. Don't play tricks. You know that you're no match for me. Lu Yuan's slender legs paused and stopped 10 feet away from Long Yu. She looked at Long Yu warily. Of course. Long Yu nodded his head. Following which, he took something out from his robe. Dragon Leap. Just as Lu Yuan's attention was focused on Long Yu's hand, Long Yu suddenly swept his spear and leaped 100 feet back. In an instant, he reached the edge of the mine. Trying to run? Lu Yuan had already guessed Long Yu's actions. Seeing this, she sneered. Her figure moved, transforming into a stream of light and a sword shadow. She quickly chased after Long Yu. So fast. Long Yu's heart trembled, and he didn't dare to slack off. He swept the 9 nether dragon spear horizontally, and layers of spear shadows swept out in the direction of Lu Yuan's attack. Immediately after, he swept his spear horizontally and used the nether dragon leap again. The move of the nether dragon leap consumed a lot of profound chi, but after Long Yu's dantian had been tempered, the recovery speed of his profound chi was much faster than that of ordinary people. It was enough for him to use it a few more times. Break! Lu Yuan turned into a flowing light sword shadow. Suddenly, her graceful figure appeared in a flash. With a casual slash of her 2 red swords, the white flowing light sword shadow smashed Long Yu's numerous spear shadows. Now that she had made sufficient preparations, with her speed, it would be impossible for Long Yu to escape again. Dark Dragon Leap. Long Yu instantly took a step forward. Following that, he used the Nether Dragon's leap to travel through the rolling hills. Not long after, he arrived at a small valley. This valley was surrounded by mountain walls that were dozens of feet tall. If he hadn't used the Nether Dragon leap, he would never have been able to jump over it. However, at this time, the profound chi in Long Yu's body was almost depleted. I didn't expect Lu Yuan to be so fast and to be so close to me. I don't even have enough profound chi to use the Nether Dragon leap. Now, Long Yu stood in the valley, feeling Lu Yuan chasing after him quickly. He couldn't help but frown. A plan came to his mind. When Lu Yuan turned into a flowing light sword shadow and arrived at the small valley, she didn't see Long Yu. She only felt that Long Yu had been here before. Have you crossed the valley? I'd like to see if your profound chi or mine is sufficient. Once you're exhausted, how are you going to escape from me? Lu Yuan snorted softly. She turned into a flowing light sword shadow and leaped high. Her leap was dozens of feet high. In an instant, she crossed the mountain wall of the small valley and continued to chase after him. However, as soon as her figure disappeared, Long Yu appeared in the small valley. It turned out that he had used up all the profound chi in his body and could not use the Nether Dragon leap. He could only turn into ghost chi and temporarily hide in the small valley. As the large mineral vein was full of yin chi, he did not attract Lu Yuan's attention when he turned into ghost chi. Hurry up and absorb the yin chi. Long Yu appeared and hurriedly left the small valley. Following the mountain path, he arrived at another hidden corner of the mountain and sat down. Right now, he was pressed for time. If he could use the yin chi and the yin energy elixir to condense his true spirit and step into the true spirit realm, then even if Lu Yuan caught up to him again, he would definitely be able to fight. The yin chi in the Blue Wolf Emperor yin energy elixir had already been refined and had the same nature as a demonic beast's inner elixir. It could be absorbed by martial cultivators. The The yin-chi in the mineral vein was the most natural yin-chi. It was harmful to any living creature, and could not be absorbed at all. There is still one last barrier between the heavenly meridian and this world before it can be completely connected. As long as I first reach the limit of the 9th level of the martial Tao and condense my true spirit, I will be able to completely connect the heavenly meridian and step into the true spirit realm. Long Yu sensed the meridians in his body. His xian-qi was completely empty. He had used up all his xian-qi during the chase. However, as he gradually absorbed the yin-qi stored in the 9 nether dragon seal, the meridians in his body were quickly filled with profound qi. Then, it charged towards the heavenly meridian that connected the heaven and earth. As a tyrannical existence at the 3rd level of the true spirit realm, the Azure Wolf Emperor's yin energy elixir naturally contained an extremely violent power. An ordinary martial cultivator at the 9th level of the martial Tao would not dare to use it rashly. However, after Long Yu absorbed and stored the yin-qi in the 9 nether dragon seal, the yin-qi was no longer as domineering and could be easily absorbed by him. Charge! The dense yin-qi in Long Yu's body was charging towards the last checkpoint of the heavenly meridian. The surging yin-qi was like a surging wave in the ocean, howling as it tried to break through the heavenly meridian and rush into the vast heaven and earth. However, no matter how hard Long Yu tried, he could not break through the last barrier of the heavenly meridian before he condensed his true spirit. I've reached the limit of the 9th level of the martial Tao. Next is to condense my true spirit. In order to condense a true spirit, it was important that one had to be compatible with the heaven and earth. As long as one could find a point of compatibility with the heaven and earth, one would be able to condense a true spirit and step into the true spirit realm. This was extremely difficult for some martial cultivators with limited talent. For example, the Tan family's ancestor that Long Yu had killed had never cultivated any mental cultivation techniques in his life and had no understanding of the laws of heaven and earth. How difficult would it be to find a point of compatibility with the heaven and earth? However, to Long Yu, this was not a problem at all. I've already comprehended the heaven-suppressing domain, so I'll use the laws of heaven-suppressing as a point of compatibility to condense my true spirit. Long Yu's eyes flickered with golden light. The laws of heaven and earth that he had comprehended were mainly the laws of suppression contained in the heaven-suppressing art. As for the strange grasses laws of withering swamp, his comprehension was still shallow and he rarely used it in battle, so it was impossible for him to condense a true spirit. Next was the most crucial step, the step of condensing a true spirit. Anyone who condensed a true spirit would definitely have a form. For example, Yu Shuiyun's suppressing palm, Wang Tianjua and the other Wang family's Tiger King's true spirit, Heavenly Eagle's true spirit, etc. The forms of these true spirits were the manifestation of the laws of heaven and earth that they had comprehended. The more compatible the form of the true spirit with the laws, the more powerful it would be. Of course, for normal martial cultivators, it was already good enough to condense a true spirit. There was no chance for them to choose the form of manifestation. However, this was not the case for Long Yu. He had comprehended the heaven-suppressing domain, so at this moment, he could display the laws of suppression in any form. Condensing a true spirit was no longer a problem after he had consumed the yin energy pill. The problem was, how should he display the laws of suppression? 9 Underworld Dragon? Long Yu immediately thought of the 9 Underworld Dragon seal on his chest, but he suddenly felt a strong resistance from the 9 Underworld Dragon seal. The 9 Underworld Dragon seemed to be an extremely powerful existence from ancient times, and it disdained to display the laws of suppression. This 9 Underworld Dragon seal can actually throw a tantrum? Long Yu was slightly puzzled, but since he could not use the 9 Underworld Dragon to display the laws of suppression and condense a true spirit, he could only think of another way. Suppression. Everything in the world. What kind of object could best display the power of the law of suppression? As Long Yu thought about it, he raised his head. Suddenly, he felt the scorching sun in the sky sprinkling down its rays, causing him to have an epiphany. The sun shines on all things. If I can condense a sun-true spirit, wouldn't the suppression of laws of suppression be able to cover the entire area? Long Yu's heart moved. He had stepped into the martial path for so long and had seen all kinds of true spirits, but he had never seen a sun-true spirit. However, the sun-true spirit and the power of the laws of suppression must be extremely compatible, which was suitable for Long Yu. He felt the sunlight shining on his body. Although it was blocked and weakened by the layers of yin qi, it still had a special heat that spread throughout his body. He began to try to fuse the laws of suppression that he had comprehended with the sunlight shining on his body. In the mine, the scorching sun shone brightly. No one knew that someone would choose to condense a sun-true spirit in such a gloomy place, and no one thought that Long Yu would condense a sun-true spirit in such a dangerous environment. For ordinary martial cultivators, condensing a sun-true spirit was a lifelong event, and it was impossible to do it in such a situation. However, Long Yu made such a choice. Moreover, in just the time it took for a joss stick to burn, he had already integrated the heaven-suppressing domain into the sunlight and condensed a round sun shadow in his dantian. This was the true spirit that he had condensed, the sun-true spirit. I'll call you heaven-suppressing Sunday, Long Yu thought with satisfaction. As the heaven-suppressing sun condensed, Long Yu felt that the last barrier of the heavenly meridian in his body had finally loosened. Following that, wave after wave of dense yin qi finally broke through the heavenly meridian and became one with heaven and earth. True Spirit Realm. Chapter 110. Stepping into the true spirit realm, Long Yu could clearly feel that he was different from before. Condensing the true spirit opened a new door on the path of cultivation. True spirit of the sun, heaven-suppressing Sunday, through the heaven-suppressing sun, Long Yu was more compatible with heaven and earth. If he were to release the heaven-suppressing domain, the pressure would be at least twice as strong as before. Furthermore, after stepping into the true spirit realm, Long Yu's basic strength had increased tremendously. The first layer of the true spirit realm had the basic strength of 1,000 horses, which was 4 times stronger than when he was in the 9th layer of the martial path. This kind of strength was also known as the 1 June strength. If he stepped into the 2nd layer of the true spirit realm, he would have the basic strength of 2 Junes. With every increase in cultivation, his basic strength would double. From this, it could be seen that even if there was only a difference of 1 layer, the gap between the two cultivators was huge. Furthermore, the higher the rank of the cultivator, the greater the gap between them. This is the feeling of power, the first layer of the true spirit realm. Long Yu's eyes flickered. Now, if I were to face an opponent in the first layer of the true spirit realm, I could defeat them with a single move. Even experts like Hua Buxi and Hua Fu would be able to put up a fight, and it is even possible for me to kill them. His martial path realm had finally increased once again, and the changes that came with stepping into the true spirit realm were not limited to just the heaven-suppressing sun and basic strength. 9 Underworld Dragon Seal, activate. Long Yu gathered his Xian Qi in his chest, and the 9 Underworld Dragon Seal was activated. A boiling aura spread throughout his body, and at the same time, it gave him the strength of 1,000 horses. Once the 9 Underworld Dragon Seal was activated, his basic strength would double. When Long Yu stepped into the true spirit realm, the 9 Underworld Dragon Seal had finally evolved for the 3rd time, becoming even stronger. Not only did my strength increase tenfold after activation, the second skill of the 9 Underworld Dragon Fist, the Palm of Reincarnation, has also appeared. Long Yu's eyes lit up. The Palm of Reincarnation was a supreme-grade spiritual martial skill. Just like the Yellow Springs Drunken Fist, It was far more powerful than other spiritual martial skills. Previously, when he faced an expert in the second layer of the true spirit realm, even if he used the Yellow Springs Drunken Fist, he might not have been able to kill his opponent, he would not have been able to. But now, after Long Yu activated the dragon seal of the 9 underworlds and combined it with the demon-vanquishing tyrant body, his basic strength had reached the strength of 2,500 horses, which was much stronger than a normal second-rank true spirit realm martial cultivator. If he were to successfully cultivate the Samsara Awakening Palm, then Hua Buxi and Hua Fu would no longer be a match for Long Yu. Of course, the current Long Yu definitely did not have the time to practice the Samsara Awakening Palm. As a top-quality spirit tier martial skill, the difficulty of practicing this move was much higher than all the other martial skills he had encountered before. It was definitely not something that could be successfully practiced within a short period of time. On the contrary, as he stepped into the true spirit realm, the 9 underworld dragon spear that was compatible with him finally sent out a thought, which recorded the cultivation method of a spiritual spear art. This is the spear art that my father created, a high-grade spiritual martial skill, 10,000 slaughter. Long Yu's heart skipped a beat. He now knew that his father, Long Zitian, was a general of the Tang Empire. The spear art that he created was a martial skill that was used to kill enemies on the battlefield. 10,000 slaughter, killing 10,000 people with one thrust of the spear. This was an extremely domineering move. Moreover, this 10,000 slaughter spear art was created by Long Zitian, which made Long Yu feel a little excited. He had heard of self-created martial skills before, but it was too difficult for ordinary martial cultivators to do so. The most important part of a martial skill was the route that Xian Qi flowed through the body. After passing through different acupuncture points, the effects would be completely different. There were many acupuncture points and meridians in the human body. If one tried to do so casually, it would be easy to cause the meridians to explode, or even the dantian to shatter. Without enough confidence and talent, no one would be able to create a martial skill. The current martial skills were all created after countless trials and tribulations by predecessors. Some of the truly powerful martial skills were always in the hands of the strongest experts and would not be spread out. 10,000 slaughter, killing 10,000 people with one thrust of the spear. If I learn this move, I will definitely be invincible on the battlefield. Long Yu held the 9 underworld dragon spear and waved it a few times. He decided to cultivate this spear art first before considering the Palm of Reincarnation Awakening, because the latter was too difficult to cultivate. Heaven-suppressing sun, this true spirit is only an illusion now. If I can condense it into a physical body, it will obviously be even more powerful. It's a pity that I'm only at the first level of the true spirit realm. If I want to condense the true spirit into a physical body, I need to at least reach the 4th level of the true spirit realm. I'm still far from it. Long Yu felt it was a pity, but now that he had successfully integrated the heaven-suppressing domain and condensed the sun true spirit, it was already worth celebrating. In battle, as long as he released the sun shadow in his dantian, he would be able to instantly spread the pressure of the heaven-suppressing domain, no longer limited to the original range of 20 feet. Although the further the distance, the weaker the pressure, the advantage was that as long as he was under the light of the heaven-suppressing sun, he would be able to completely grasp the enemy's every move. It sounded complicated, but it took less than 2 hours for Long Yu to condense the true spirit and step into the true spirit realm. When he was about to get up and move again, he suddenly felt something strange with the 9 underworld dragon seal on his chest. What's going on? He frowned slightly as he felt the 9 underworld dragon seal emitting a dense 9 underworld chi that gathered in his dantian. Then, the strange 9 underworld chi gradually condensed into the shadow of the 9 underworld dragon. As soon as the shadow of the 9 underworld dragon appeared, it pushed the heaven-suppressing sun, which was also in his dantian, to the corner, showing the domineering power of the 9 underworld dragon. Although the power of the heaven-suppressing sun was not affected by this, Long Yu was able to see through it. The shadow of the 9 underworld dragon was clearly also a shadow of the real spirit. A second real spirit? Long Yu couldn't help but think. The 9 underworld dragon disdained to integrate with the laws of heaven and earth, but at this time, it actively condensed the real spirit shadow with the 9 underworld chi. There were second real spirits on the heavenly mandate continent. In fact, every martial arts practitioner could condense more than one real spirit. It was just that in the actual process of cultivation, it was extremely difficult to condense a second real spirit, more than 10 times more difficult than condensing a first real spirit. Only those who reached a bottleneck in cultivation and could no longer improve their first real spirit would consider condensing a second real spirit. But now, Long Yu didn't do anything, and the 9 underworld dragon seal automatically condensed a second real spirit for him. Is this good or bad? Long Yu frowned slightly. If someone else encountered this, they would probably be ecstatic. After all, who wouldn't want a real spirit, and an extremely powerful real spirit, for no reason? But Long Yu felt that the 9 underworld dragon seal was full of strangeness. It was a pity that he no longer had memories of the descendants of the dragon tribe. Otherwise, he would like to see what other changes the 9 underworld dragon seal would have in the future. This real spirit of the 9 underworld dragon seems to be much more powerful than the heaven-suppressing sun, but after all, it is too strange. It's better not to use it under normal circumstances. Long Yu thought to himself, and then stood up. Ha 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 ha, finally found it. At this moment, a strange laughter that was neither a man nor a woman came from the valley next to him, which made Long Yu's heart tremble. He was just thinking about Hua Buxi, but he didn't expect him to appear right in front of him. Long Yu raised his head and saw a skinny figure in a red robe standing not far away, as if he was looking for something. When he saw Long Yu, he finally stopped laughing. The third-ranked core disciple of the Ice Sect, Hua Buxi, a second-layer true spirit realm expert. Hua Buxi would never give up on the lunar fragment, not to mention that he had been dreaming of killing Long Yu to avenge Hua Qing and Hua Yun. After searching for more than an hour in the mine, he finally thought of going back. He didn't expect to find his target so quickly. Long Yu was hiding in this corner. Could he be comprehending the power of the lunar fragment? A cold smile appeared on Hua Buxi's face as he leapt down from the hill and strolled in the direction of Long Yu. You're quite good at escaping, but it's a pity that I've caught you. You won't have another chance. Hua Buxi didn't waste any more time. As soon as he appeared, he immediately unleashed the frost force that he had comprehended. Around him, the power of the heavens and earth condensed from the law of ice instantly enveloped Long Yu. Following that, he walked towards Long Yu, step by step, as the phantom image of a frost flower appeared behind him. Hua Buxi's true spirit was a frost flower. As soon as the frost flower appeared, the power of the frost force that he had unleashed instantly doubled, causing Long Yu's blood to freeze. The frost force is indeed extraordinary. Long Yu's heart skipped a beat. He didn't expect Hua Buxi to use his full strength right from the start to suppress him and prevent him from escaping. At this moment, Long Yu felt as if he had fallen into an ice cave, as if his entire body was trapped in the ice. It looks like I have no choice but to unleash the heaven-suppressing Sunday, Long Yu's heart sank. He had initially wanted to test his strength and familiarize himself with the power of the first-layer true spirit realm. But now, he didn't even have the chance to test his strength. He had to use his full strength. Heaven-suppressing sun, come out! Long Yu roared as a heaven-suppressing sun rose behind him. In an instant, the terrifying heaven-suppressing domain spread out along with the sunlight. The frost force that Hua Buxi had unleashed was instantly suppressed by Long Yu's heaven-suppressing domain. He has condensed his true spirit, and the heaven-suppressing domain that he has comprehended is much stronger than before. Hua Buxi's face darkened. If that's the case, I can't let you live. Long Yu was too much of a threat to him. When he was in the 9th layer martial path, he was able to escape from him and snatch the lunar fragment away from the 4 expert. Now, Long Yu had condensed his true spirit. The speed of his improvement was incredible. When the two of them clashed with the heaven-suppressing domain, an intense aura immediately erupted. The other 3 people, who were also searching for Long Yu's traces, could clearly sense it. Over there. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.